in to the Jordy Culotta Show. Wave your hand out there, baby!
Shout out to the show.
She puts the pinky into the nostril. I mean, look at that.
Healthy competition, there's nothing like it.
Y'all grow up. The line's wrapped around the stadium. Different strengths. I just lost a tooth.
It's going to be fun.
You know, we might have a story.
I love what you're doing.
Ogeron wants to take us fishing this afternoon.
Sharif, you play for the bad boys of the SEC, man. We don't apologize to anybody.
But a lot of people are saying you're going to be wearing number 7.
I don't really know. I want to.
See, look crazy, Bill. Good feet on the old man.
Definitely come back. You know, I love.
We'll be right back with the Jordy Culotta Show.
All right, welcome in. Tuesday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show. I'm Kyle Caskey. I will be guest hosting today with the Carpool Queen, who has already carpooled her way in.
Glad you're here.
She was here early.
And you got the Carpool Twins over here.
We got the air conditioner king over here, who likes to keep this place cold, which I have no problem with most of the time. But
55 degrees.
it's normally
Wake up.
Ridiculous.
It's normally warm in here, but this morning a little bit different, which was different. And then we got Stewie over here just holding it down since he's a college graduate and everything. So
He's trying to survive in his winter clothes.
Yeah.
I'm not cold.
Yeah, because you did this. Like,
I know, it feels great. I'm like, oh.
That's what you get.
Oh, you
I
did see
deserve
that.
that. I deserve
Yeah,
that. I
Baby
deserve
Jesus
that.
did that to you for freezing us out this morning.
Jesus likes it cold. He's born in the manger.
That's right.
So,
on
with that being
25th.
said, we are brought to you today by Go Chevrolet. Like every morning, go to www.gochevrolet.com. That's GAUX Chevrolet.com. If you live in Tennessee, apparently you're in good luck. You got some good luck going because they're in Tennessee now.
Yeah, they are.
But hey, just excited to be here this morning. I'm glad y'all had me in. I'm following up Jacques, and I know that's
It's a tall task.
That's a tall task. You know, I'm over here and I'm in this chair right now, and when I sit in this chair, it's warmed up, but I had to warm it up, I guess. So this
That's why
morning.
y'all got here early.
Well, you've already one-upped him. You actually have a laptop and not 5 pages of handwritten.
Oh, there we go.
He went straight Jimbo. He just had 8 pages of notes, Coach. And
That's
he was
ready.
just, I think I'm prepared.
You know what's funny is like there's that kind of generation, and I mean he's not. I don't even know if he's older than me, Jacques, but like there is a generation where
I think I was the same age, actually.
yeah, when the computers came out, they decided not to use the computers as much and kept their tabulation with the yellow notepads and things,
Yeah.
and it never has changed over. But I guess I was a nerd, and just everything I do now is all based around computers, and I don't know how to. If you gave me a notepad and said that's what you got to do, I mean,
I still make lists and write things down.
I would write things down, but if that was what it was, and I had to go flip through my notes and find something, I couldn't do that.
Well,
Yeah.
it just kind of makes you look a little bit more panicked whenever you're flipping through pages, as opposed to just kind of you can scroll on the laptop and fake
Did
it.
not look
You
as
can't
nervous.
fake
Yeah, but he was like flipping.
Shuffling through.
He's like back and front
Oh
pages.
shit.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the right thing.
Did we talk about everything? I was like, that's what I asked him. Like, Jock, you get through all your notes? He's like, I'm gonna get there.
Take my time.
Yeah.
Wait, before we get into it, thanks to Brian Burgess for
Poisoning us.
showing up at our door this morning with this fresh baked.
Oh, you just not Snoop.
Knocked
Snoop
over
didn't like
Snoop.
it. Apparently,
Pecan
Snoop
pie.
didn't like it.
Snoop's gonna get into it later as soon as he finishes that joint. Thanks, Brian Burgess. He has Santa hat on and everything, just like he said he was going to do. He delivered our little pie.
Now Snoop's protecting the pie.
Just so you know, he was invited in.
I did
But
invite
he did
him
not. He did not partake in coming inside
He's
and
in
hanging
here
out.
in the chat.
You think he's going for? I was about to say, you think he's jogging in this weather? Stewie and I
I
on
think
the way
he does.
here.
I think Jacques
Solid.
said he runs every morning.
This,
Yeah,
if it was
big.
just cold outside, it would be one thing. This rain.
It's raining.
It's
the rain
rain.
just gives it, takes it over the top of my.
Yeah.
See, I had my
It's
flip flops
miserable.
on yesterday, and there's a big puddle outside my house, and I stepped right in that puddle, not paying
Well,
attention.
you stepped in shit when you
And-
came in here 2 weeks ago.
I
Yeah,
didn't.
you
Yes,
did.
but see, no, I
Right,
actually
not
parked
all
in the
up in
parking
here.
lot this time, so I didn't have to step into the crap outside. No, literally though, y'all need to probably get them to come clean out that street out there because there's too many leaves out there,
I'll
and
get
dogs.
right on that. I'll
The,
get
the dogs are, letting loose underneath the leaves, and people
think
like
anyone
me
around here cares
that
about
have
the
to park in the street when I get here for Caskey's Clicker at 8:30, we end up having to walk through,
A little
Shit.
bit of dookie.
yes. So,
You can double park behind us instead of going down the
that,
street.
well, no, because then the last time somebody like parked bad, which I think was Lloyd that one time I came in.
Oh, I'm terrible at it.
and
I-
There's just a lot of traffic on this little street.
Yeah, I mean,
It
we got a
is.
lot going on across the street, so it's hard to get in.
Yeah.
Anyway, welcome in. Go Chevrolet.
so hey, just moving forward here. LSU is getting ready for the bowl game, and there's been a few little kind of things that are happening with the NCAA that I think are interesting. That I think when we get into it, will allow us to kind of look forward to who's going to play in this game. And the NCAA issued a waiver a few days ago that's going to allow red shirts to play in the bowl games just for this year because there's been so many opt-outs, so many injuries, so many people, the transfer portal. So teams like Purdue that LSU's playing, their quarterback's out. I believe the running back is out. They've all opted out. I'm sure they've had some transfer portals. Their coach is gone. So it's one of those things where
They had to.
I'm just using them as an example. They're not the only one, but think about all these other teams that have lost a bunch of players that aren't playing because they're not playing in the playoffs. They're playing in just the Citrus Bowl or whatever. You know what I mean? And so they're allowing these red shirts to play and not lose their red shirt. So a person like Walker Howard, who I believe still has his red shirt, am I correct?
Mm-hmm.
Might see him in the game. You never know. I mean, it may be a chance to get, yes, they want to win this. LSU wants to win this game to get to 10 wins and everything. But are you going to allow one of your players to get some playing time that maybe never would have gotten it, and especially in a bowl game? And, I think that's something that they got to look forward to because I've been a coach and a player in bowl games. I actually was a player at the Cotton Bowl and a coach at the Cotton Bowl. And I would say the Cotton Bowl is actually one of the coolest bowls. They take care of you there. I mean, it is a.
What do they do?
Oh, it's the bowl gifts. It's the
Really?
food. It's
Like,
the
what do you
events.
get for bowl gifts? What kind of
When
stuff?
I was playing, it was when the first PlayStation came out. So we all got PlayStations. We all got
That's so
PlayStations, and we
cool.
all got the NCAA game, I believe, and something else. I think I got like a Sonic game or something. But
That's what I want to
Sonic the
play.
Hedgehog.
yeah, like Sonic the Hedgehog game or something.
Hey, trying to collect
And-
rings.
And they gave, it was not that, but it was like all the pullovers, all the jumpsuits, all the backpacks, just the swag that goes with it. And then we had a thing called the Beef Bowl, Lowry's Beef Bowl. That was at a big steakhouse there, and it was whichever team ate the most
Beef.
prime rib or whatever it was that day, and was supposedly it was like a 90% chance that if you won the Beef Bowl, you were winning the game. Well, we played UCLA when I was playing, and UCLA actually won the Beef Bowl and they won the game. But
Oh, so the beef bowl was just like an eating contest?
it was just an eating contest, yeah.
Oh, God.
And
Before
which
the game?
it was like on
I mean, not
Tuesday.
the
It was
day
like
of,
on,
obviously,
if you were
but-
playing on Saturday, it would be like a Tuesday.
All right, so you have some time.
Because we got there, we always you usually get to a bowl game like a week before.
Yeah.
You're on site for a week, and you actually get to practice at the facility. Now, if it's a grass field, you can go out. You get out there once or twice. But like when we played at the Cotton Bowl, we didn't practice at the Cotton Bowl. And then when we played in the Sugar Bowl the next year. We actually practiced at Tulane at the old stadium. Not the. I don't know if that is a new stadium on the old stadium site. Like this was like an old outdoor stadium, like an old
I
stadium.
don't know.
Ullman?
I don't know. It was like it was an old stadium, and we just practiced there on the campus.
I think it might be the same.
And then and then we went to it may be.
I think it has to be.
Because Ullman's been there. I think it's just like they just redid it because of Tulane.
And then we ended up going in about 3 days after we were there. We ended up practicing the Superdome. And a little story about that is we didn't have curfew the first 2 nights.
Oh.
And so
SebastianJanikowski.com.
So obviously, we were out on Bourbon Street and doing some stupid stuff, and we get to the Superdome.
That's
and
the new Beef Bowl.
This is in end of December, obviously, because the game was on the 1st or the 2nd that year, and they hadn't turned the air conditioner on yet in the dome, and it was the most
You'd be
stagnant.
So mad, wouldn't you?
It was the most stagnant
yet.
air, and it wasn't like it was cold or anything. It was just kind of, it was room temperature, but it was like stagnant, and you could smell. It smelled like alcohol. So R.C. Slocum was the coach at the time, and he stopped practice and he made us run gassers, and he goes
in there.
He goes,
with that smell.
if you guys want to smell like alcohol, I'm going to run it all out of you, basically.
It could have just been from Sunday from the Saints game. Like it could have been the fans.
No, it was not. It was
us.
it was permeating from our bodies, and
smells like ass.
so needless to say,
and you can smell it too. We used to have practice on Sundays. Obviously, we played on Friday, but in high school, we would have to come back for film on Sunday. But all of us would go to the LSU games on Saturday. But coach was like, "You have to come back for Sunday film," and he was like, I got a bunch of bad kids over here because y'all smell like ass. And we're like, well, it's just for film. We ain't running.
It just smells like Tigerland in here.
It is one of those things where if it starts to really, if like it gets into your clothes and stuff like that, because obviously we had we were full pads. It was like there was still like 4 days to go till the game, so we're out getting a practice in.
Yeah, that'd be the IV
or a beer.
And then I'll tell you what though, when we went back to I went back to the Cotton Bowl as a coach. I was at Ole Miss for a year. You like that. I was at Ole Miss under Houston Nutt for a year in 2009, and we went to the Cotton Bowl, played Oklahoma State, and Oklahoma State was actually really good that year. That was Zach Robinson was their quarterback, all that. So we ended up going there for a week, and we stayed in the Anatole Hotel. If anybody's familiar with Dallas, it's a really humongous hotel kind of north of downtown Dallas, and we practiced in AT&T Stadium or whatever it was called back then, Cowboy Stadium back then. And that was like one of the coolest things ever, because obviously it was brand new basically.
Jerry's World.
Yeah, I think it might have been the first Cotton Bowl held beautiful in that stadium.
Oh wow,
and,
that's cool.
Was it not the LSU Texas A&M? When
it might have been. It was one of the first. It was one of the first.
Tyrann Mathieu.
He wants to forget.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to hear, because that was the Tannehill game where Tyrann Mathieu kind of showed out. I think he had a strip sack and a pick.
Well,
pick six.
Just like all of you here in Baton Rouge, certain games get forgotten.
Coach, I can't forget the Troy game. I was there. It's like live and in color. Saw it, the whole thing.
I watched it when I was working at Coach Closier's. I was working for Northwestern State, watching it on my phone. I was just not paying attention to Northwestern and just watching the first play of the game. Who was the running back?
Brissett.
Hold on,
Nick Brissett fumble.
Was y'all's? Were you actually playing a game when you were watching?
No, I was charting plays.
Oh,
but I was just watching the wrong game.
So
that was the first down, right?
Not even our starter. What is he in?
So Nick Brissett was actually one of my players in Cincinnati for like a couple of days, I think. I don't know. He could tell you more. He could tell you better than I could. But he was on the practice squad for a little while with us in Cincinnati, and it was funny because I when I was working here last summer before I went to Jacksonville, him like two days in a row or something. Like he walks up to me, and then Jeremy Hill comes up and like jumps on my back one day, during practice. I had no idea what was going on. I was just getting attacked in practice. And I turned around, it was Jeremy Hill.
LSU kids.
And I was there. I was the running back coach that when we drafted Jeremy in Cincinnati. So I was his coach the whole time while he was in Cincinnati, and it was just one of those. It's crazy like how I always said LSU has like a really good cradle of running backs because you always looked at the backups too. That's how I tried to tell you about Josh Williams like a long time ago, but nobody around here wants to listen to me. And then all of a sudden he becomes Offensive Player of the Year. I'm just saying.
I might know what I'm talking about.
If y'all would actually listen to me around here.
We do.
No, like we always used to watch.
You're talking more than we do.
We used to watch the backups all the time. Seriously, like we'd look if there was a rotating guy, we always used to look at him. I mean, even the receivers like James Wright. Y'all remember James Wright?
Yes. 82, coach.
I'm telling you, I think I've told this story before. James Wright, I don't think caught a pass his last year at LSU.
I don't think caught like one or two.
He didn't have many. And that dude played in the NFL for about 6 years.
Played for the Bengals, right?
He played for. Yeah, we drafted him.
Hey.
Drafted him, played for us with special teams. He was like great on special teams, and then he went to the Giants. I think. I mean, the kid played forever. But anyway, I point back to the bowl stuff. I think one of the biggest things about the bowl is you get practice with guys that aren't necessarily getting to practice during the year, and it allows you to have an extra spring practice. And a lot of people don't think of it that way, but I'm talking the coaches do, the players do, but people in the general public, the fans, don't see this as they're getting an extra whole spring session in, because like a team like A&M, I'll take my lumps here, they don't have this right now. So they're doing lifting and they're doing, running or whatever, but
transferring.
They're transferring, but there is no actual practice where you go out on the field, put pads on, and get to run plays and get timing down with your players. This gives guys like Walker Howard, who probably haven't had a whole lot of one reps, to get reps with the ones, or some of these linemen that they need to develop behind. I'm talking defensive linemen, offensive linemen, the big guys. It gives them a chance to develop and go against each other with more of a training camp style atmosphere, because you're not preparing for anybody just yet. Because really, those bowl practices, if you play on, they play on January 2nd, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you play on January 2nd, you're probably not going to start really, truly preparing for that team until, now the coaches have, but the players, when you talk about practice, probably not until after Christmas, that week. Try to keep it.
At all now?
What's that?
They wouldn't practice at all now.
No, they would practice, but it would be more of just training camp where they're working on themselves, where they're running LSU's running LSU's plays against LSU's defense. LSU's defense is running LSU's defense versus LSU's plays, and it gives them a chance to develop the talent they have, and that's where these bowl practices are more important for next year's team, really, in all reality, than they are for this year's team. So when you see a team that has one of those late bowls, I'm telling you, the coaches are excited about it because it gives them extra. I mean, you're literally gonna get probably 15 practices in, so you're getting a legit spring in and a game, and it's like you got your spring game's the bowl game.
Yeah, I never thought about it like that.
And you're allowing all the development of the younger guys. So
and doesn't that put LSU kind of in a precarious position? Whenever you've lost 2 straight, obviously flowers to you. A&M gets a win whenever they probably kind of ruined LSU's season. And then they lose in the SEC championship. You don't want to go into the next year losing 3 straight. So it's almost like you have to prepare to win this game as opposed to get extra reps for guys that haven't been able to play yet.
Yeah, true. And the thing too is this is a game where they're not playing in a playoff game. So there are guys that have opted out. Ojulari's opted out, right? So Brian Kelly came out and said something about Savion Jones and possibly getting him reps, and the things that, why is that important? Because what's the depth behind Ojulari and Ali Gay and Harold Perkins having to play more linebacker possibly going into next year or whatever the case is. And now I think with Harold Perkins, he is Micah Parsons, where he plays off the ball, he plays on the ball, he plays wherever you want him to play. Put him at safety. I don't care. Put him at running back. There you go. But
quarterback.
It's one of those things where you still got to have all the rest of your guys in line to, take over for the guys who are leaving. Because is Ali Gay coming back or is he done?
No, he's done.
So you're losing him. You're losing Ojulari. You're losing 2 bookend guys that have been players. So this gives these other guys a chance now. And maybe there's some guys we don't even know about, that are on the team. When I say we don't know about them, that haven't played this year, maybe that were redshirted or have been further down the line, that all of a sudden
Quincy Wiggins.
Mm-hmm. So you get these guys that are further down the line that you haven't seen yet, that all of a sudden this bowl game you're going to watch and go, whoa, who's that? And that's
what you hope to see.
It's what you hope to see. But, again, does it lead towards them having the job next year? Well, it depends on who they get. Because, I mean, if you look at the team this time last year and look at the team this time this year, it's a totally different team because they went and revamped it. Well, who says they're not going to go do that again? You know, and I think they need to. You can't just sit on the guys you got ever. And that's what, you know, I mean, teams like Alabama that are good every year, that's because every year they're throwing that the back end just keeps getting filled back in. And, you know, those front end guys, they leave, they go to the NFL, they're, you know, and then this next guy up, and then literally that next wave just pops right behind them. And the next wave, it's just like
reload.
Yeah. It's just so, and I think that's what's going to start happening here in Baton Rouge. At least it seems like to me. I don't know. That's y'all been here longer than I have. So I mean, I think they've done a better job of, especially what I've seen with last year's recruiting and transfer, and then the guys I've seen that are committed, that they're doing that. Am I?
Oh no, you're totally right. Especially when you talk about what you saw from LSU in the bowl game last year, where how many players did they have? Like 35 on.
Well, you had a receiver playing quarterback.
That's what I'm saying. So for LSU, this year's going to look totally different. You actually have a head coach in place, and like Brad Davis did the best he could given what he had to work with.
Yeah,
and you just had Brian Kelly in the booth watching, going,
yeah,
this team is ass. Like, what am I gonna like? It's probably worse than it was probably looked worse than he thought it did. He was like, we're gonna really have to dive into the transfer portal here and get some guys. This year, it feels like, all right, I recruited a lot of these guys. You're gonna be able to see them their freshman year. Especially with this new rule or new waiver in place, I guess, where this game doesn't count against your four-game eligibility with a red shirt. So you'll be able to see a Quincy Wiggins. You'll be able to see some other guys that essentially you wouldn't have been able to see. Like, that's what makes the quarterback position for LSU that I'm sure everybody wants to talk about very interesting. If Jaden Daniels isn't able to go, even though Brian Kelly said yesterday that if we had a bowl game tomorrow, he could play. But he's been kind of on that fence for a lot of players that have been hurt to where he's like, yeah, he could go, but that doesn't necessarily mean he's going to play.
But it also leads to the fact of you don't have to play him,
right?
You know, because you've still got Nussmeier, you got Walker Howard, and you got guys that you want to see anyway. And I mean, this is my opinion. I think you're crazy if you get that waiver like they just got and you don't play Walker Howard. I think you need to see what he can do at some point.
Especially against a team like Purdue. It's different than if he was going to play. I think I think he only played against Southern. He's only played one game. Mm-hmm. So he's not necessarily in line for if he had played a fifth game, then you burn the red shirt. But you don't want to throw him out against Georgia after Jaden gets hurt. You're like,
no.
So you don't want to put Purdue. It feels like, all right, they got a new their coach left. Drew Brees is on staff.
But plan for it though. So it's not like you say, okay, listen, if Jaden Daniels isn't playing, or even if he is, you say, okay, Jaden, you're gonna start. We're gonna give you a few series. Hey, Nuss is gonna go in at some point in the first half. But listen, Walker, be ready in the second half. We're gonna find a way to get you in and get you a few reps, and then if it becomes, you know, if like the way it should probably, if LSU's talent takes over and they're up by a couple touchdowns at some point in the second half or something, just let him finish it out. And I think it's the same thing with some of these other, you know, you get guys I think that have earned the right to play, and that's another thing for bowl games like this is some of these guys who are walk-ons, who are older walk-ons, you know, they get a chance to go in and see the field and you know, actually say, hey, I played, I caught a pass, I ran the ball, I blocked or whatever, and that people can say, I don't care about that. That means a lot to the team, because if you have that back end guys, those walk-ons that get those scout team guys that give everything they've got every single day, and they're not getting anything for it in all reality, that's when, if you can get a strong group of those guys that love the team, that help recruiting, that help make your other guys better, and you give them a little love, that's going to bring better guys in to do those jobs in the future too. Because if there's a rumor out there that you don't treat your walk-ons right, or they're never going to play, or whatever the case is, well, I mean, obviously with Josh Williams, you know, it's not the case around here, but that does trickle down into people wanting to come in. So that's
I feel like the more interesting conversation for LSU is that it leads more to, I don't want to say controversy, but the more you see, obviously you saw what happened after Nussmeier played extended time against Georgia, where it's like, oh, is that the better version of LSU if everything looks right wherever you get the ball to your playmakers? Because if there was any complaint, I'm in the Jaden Daniels camp of if he's not your starter, you don't win 9 games.
Yeah.
Like, it could have looked different probably in terms of, like, who's your best – Coach, if I asked you, who's your best group on LSU? Like, where are your most athletes?
Best athletes are receivers.
Right.
Yeah.
And so people were complaining a little bit that he didn't spread the ball around enough. But then you saw Nussmeier come in. He completes, like, 5 passes to 5 different receivers. You see the offense look a little bit different. If you put in a Nussmeier, if you put in a Walker Howard, and you see it, and then Jaden Daniels comes back next year, it opens up the pipeline a little bit for people to have more of a – when you're at LSU, you have to almost consider the outside opinion because it gets so loud.
Yeah.
And so if you see Walker Howard come in and go 14 of 18 for 2 touchdowns, and you're like, oh.
But you also
kind of opens the door.
Do you want that? Do you want that?
Not a bad problem.
Do you want that problem, or do you want the problem they had this time last year?
What, with Racing McMath playing quarterback?
I would rather have the problem they have right now because here's the thing.
Trey Kirkland.
But this is what makes great coaches great. They want those problems and they handle those problems. They don't. It's not like they run from those problems. I would rather have more really good players and have to make a hard decision and hurt somebody's feelings than I would rather than not have a player at all and just be struggling. So there's a point where these guys have got to understand too, there's only one quarterback on the field at a time, and there's got to be a decision made. And if you're not that guy and you don't feel like you're that guy, well, guess what? There's a thing called the transfer portal. Everybody else is using it. Why not just jump in there, right? I'm not saying they should, but everybody else seems to jump when it gets hard, which I think is wrong. If I'm standing on my soapbox right now with this one, I just don't like that. I don't like when something gets hard in life right now. Everybody just wants to jump ship instead of actually pushing through and doing and trying to get things fixed and do things the right way. No, you didn't give me what I wanted, so I'm just going to leave. And that's my 2 cents.
Right.
I think there is something good for some transfer kids. I think some kids you're never going to play. You don't belong at a certain level, and you transfer down and you play. I get that, but if you're a really, really good player and and look at some of these guys, they transfer 2-3 times. Do you think the NFL's not seeing that? What are they going to do when they go to an NFL team and you can't transfer? And the only thing that's going to happen to you is you get cut. And you know what happens when you get cut? You don't get paid.
Mm-hmm.
Do they want to get paid? I'm sure they do. So there's a point where you got to grow up.
You can go win you a Grey Cup.
These kids have got to grow up at some point and understand that there's consequences to actions. There's consequences to decisions. Not everything's participation trophies. I refuse to give my kids participation trophies, so I'm putting that out there. I refuse. No, if they get a if they get one, you know where it's going? Trash can. Because I'm sorry, there's winners and losers in this world. There's winners and losers in this world. If you don't learn how to win or how to keep yourself from being a loser
or how to handle defeat,
then you're going to someday some boss is going to fire you and you're going to go cry. and what they're not going to care.
Ain't no HR at FM, Coach. Ain't nobody to cry to.
I mean, I've been on 3 different football staffs. I've been 3 different coaching staffs that we just didn't get the job done, and the staff got let go. The head coach got let go, and the staff got let go, and it hurts. It does, man. It's like we couldn't get it done. It hurts, but I can't go just cry about it and hope somebody feels bad for me. I got to jump back out there and try to get something done. So,
hell yeah.
All right, I'm off my soapbox. Sorry out there. Hey, let's do this. Let's take a break, Katie, and we'll come back.
Let's talk about Katie's Restaurant, the neighborhood restaurant for the entire city. They feature typical neighborhood-style cuisine like you find at Mama's House. Katie's, Francesca by Katie's is the deli and sister restaurant featuring the St. Louis-style pizza. It's at 515 Harrison Avenue in Lakeview, and Katie's is at 3701 Iberville Street. They've been featured all over the Food Network, Travel Channel. Diners, drive-ins, and dimes. Go to katiesinmidcity.com, check out their menu, and give them a visit. We'll be right back.
In a wreck, Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys is ready to go to work for you. Come meet your team.
I'm your intake specialist. I coordinate your case and connect you with your attorney and paralegal.
That's us, your legal team.
Thanks. And we'll fight to get you every dollar you deserve.
I'm your settlements and disbursement manager, and I'm here to get you paid on time.
I'm attorney Gordon McKernan. Put our team to work today. Just call us. Get it done.
I remember telling them, hey, listen, my job here is to make sure that we bring, big time football to a small town environment, right? And so you see on movies sometimes about the way a town reacts to the football program and what it means to everybody, and that was the hopes and dreams that I had for the place. And so our kids take a distinct responsibility in wearing that Z on their helmet. It means a lot to them. And then on the flip side of that, our community does a tremendous job of supporting our program, supporting the athletic department, supporting our school as a whole. And there's really a great relationship there that's a lot of fun to be a part of.
Thank you for the access, man. Looking forward to tonight. We'll talk soon.
Coach, wait, before you go, fix your hair again one more time.
Look at him.
Let's go here.
Look at him.
What do you think about that?
Game day,
what do you
baby.
think about that?
Game day. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it, man. Great to see you. Thank you.
You too, guys. I appreciate it. Y'all have a great day.
All right, man. There he is. There he is. My guy. David Brewerton checking in. What does Harold Perkins do for this defense? What does he allow you guys to do?
Yeah, Perk, man, he's just so raw, man. Like, all he know how to do is make a play. But I love him. He brings a certain type of juice to the defense, and he's right alongside of me on the edge. He knows how to rush the edge. As a young guy, that's very valuable to the defense, being able to rush the edge. Making the quarterback step up. But yeah, they put him everywhere. Middle linebacker, outside rusher. Maybe sometimes he's gonna be in the drop. So he's very versatile for our defense.
Question in that game. You're listening to the Jordy Culotta Show live on YouTube. Catch it every day, 7 to 9 a.m. wherever you have internet access.
Oh, my guy, the host of Mac and Cube.
You said you wanted me to close it out.
I listen to his pod every day on WJOX 94. I thought I was going to beat Charlie. I didn't. You were fantastic as always. Have a great call in Missouri. I'll see you soon, man.
Thanks, man. Good talking to you, Jordy.
Always. There he is. Cole Kublik, the absolute best. Don't overthink it, ABC. When you move to a primetime slot and the SEC is getting that billing, make this man the color commentator. He's the absolute best.
Ooh, I mean, what a pro.
What a pro.
Hi, this is Dan Canterbury. Join myself and the legend, Coach Skip Burtman, for Hold the Rope Tuesday nights on YouTube. You can go to @HoldTheRope, Skip and Cano. Skip, tell them what we do.
We've got a lot of education. We've got some people that can tell you a lot about a lot of things. In the area of sports, we have a lot of entertainment. We got a lot of energy putting this in. I think you'll like it.
So join us for Hold the Rope.
Looking to book a dumpster but no idea how? We've made it quick and easy for you. Check out our website at moralesrolloffs.com. Let Morales Roll-Offs know your desired delivery date, and finally, provide your contact details. To make payment, look out for an email invoice with all your booking details. On delivery day, our driver will notify you through text and email that your dumpster is ready and on the way. Now you know how easy and convenient it is. Call Morales Roll-Offs at 225-427-0000 for your dumpster.
Hey Baton Rouge, when traveling through Natchez, Mississippi, whether you need to fill up your vehicle or your belly, stop by Go-Mart and On The Go Deli. Go-Mart has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you might need on your trip. So stop by Go-Mart at 4 Sergeant Prentice Drive as you're entering Natchez on the left, and visit Tom and Wright Granning and their awesome team at Go-Mart.
Don't let the name fool you. Men's Total Health has offerings for the ladies, too. Guys, is your wife or partner suffering from urinary incontinence, low sexual desire, or pain during sex? Then the O-Shot might be for her. Don't let it scare you. It's totally natural. It's PRP. And Mike Roach and the crew at Men's Total Health will make you as comfortable as you can be. Contact me for more information, Katie at JordyCulottaShow.com, and I'm happy to tell you everything that Men's Total Health has to offer for the ladies.
All right, welcome back. I'm going to throw this over to Lloyd because we have a busy day here at FM Radio, FM Media, and
FM Radio.
FM Radio, FM Media.
Yeah,
sorry, Jordy, my bad.
He's not listening. He is,
somebody else.
Rado time, dude.
Lloyd, going to throw that over to you. Talk about what's going on today.
Yes.
Still looks nice.
What's going on today, Lloyd?
We do have a little programming change because of what is going on with recruiting. We're bringing Shea Dixon in at 9 a.m. He's going to come in. We're not going to do a different stream. We're just going to keep this whole thing rolling. So it will not be it'll be on the Shea Dixon Power Hour Recruiting channel at the end of it, but we're going to keep it on the same stream. Shea will come in, talk recruiting, give you a preview of what we have in store if you're an LSU fan. And then Wednesday night, we are going to do Mic'd Up from 6 to 8 as usual, but Shea will join us then to give us a little bit of a recap. So usually Shea comes on Wednesday, but we're going to move it up to give you a little preview of what is in store for recruiting. So show doesn't end at 9.
Well, what
Same
else
stream.
Is today besides Shea?
Hold the rope. 6. There's my guy. And then we hold the rope tonight from 6 to 8.
Yes.
I'd imagine.
You got those DCs chilled in there?
I don't know, Coach, how many were in there?
There was none in the refrigerator.
Oh, no.
We're going to have to put some in the fridge.
Katie?
No, you men can take the case of Diet Coke off the top of the fridge and put it into the refrigerator.
Yes.
Damn it.
Yeah, there's apparently a rule here that only coaches can drink Diet Cokes in this.
That's what we try to stick to.
That's the coach rule.
So
we don't touch those things.
Now we are also at 8:30 today. While I'm still here, we're going to actually do the Caskey's Clicker as part of this show today. I've got a dive into the Philadelphia Eagles offense and just looking why are they 13-1 and what are they doing that has made the Eagles actually all of a sudden
unlocked Jalen Hurts a little bit.
Yeah, and he got hurt. Hurts got hurt a little bit.
Jalen is hurt,
but I think he's supposedly going to be okay. But let's stick with the LSU bowl game for a minute. One of the cool things that's happening for especially Louisiana folk around here, I think that are going to love this, is Drew Brees is going to be coaching against the Tigers.
That's what Drew's
excited.
And Drew said, I never liked LSU anyway. Even though I live down here, screw those guys. But I'm going to go up and beat them. I'm going to show them who the real gold team is around here. I think that's what he's saying.
And make a couple Boilermakers.
Yeah. No, so so Drew, for those of y'all that don't know, Drew Brees, the head coach, Jeff Brom at Purdue, left to go take the Louisville head coaching job. That's where he played. So he went back to his alma mater. He's taken some coaches with him to get recruiting going and everything. And obviously the Purdue game, after they lost in the Big Ten championship and everything, they're kind of in the same boat LSU is, where they're playing for pride, they're playing for development, all this stuff, but they lost their coach and all that. So Drew Brees called the AD, I believe, and said, hey, I'm here if you need me. And I guess they must have lost their quarterback coach to go to Louisville, and he's coming in. He's going to help sort through whatever's left of the quarterback situation because their quarterback's not going to play in the game. So I think it's kind of cool that he's doing that. That is his alma mater. That's where Drew Brees played. So, which is kind of weird because Drew Brees is from Austin, and
sounds like Carroll.
No, Westlake.
Westlake.
What makes it weird to me is that he called the school to ask them.
I know.
And they didn't ask him.
Is that true? That's really how it went down?
I bet you what happened was he's got friends there. He knows people. He probably just, honestly, probably in a, not a joking manner, but almost like just a friendly, hey, man,
Here if you need
some help, I'm here.
I'll coach you.
And because I think
I can't be an analyst.
He actually said, there's a quote. He said, if you need me, I'm here. I'm available. And I want to be a resource. I love to work with these guys. They've given me the opportunity. I'm going to take full advantage. So
why doesn't he just take the job?
Well, he's not.
Well, I don't think he wants.
Drew Brees not a coach.
I don't think he wants to coach. There's a big difference. This is where when you see certain players you don't see like all the players just become coaches, is because the coach lifestyle is 100% different than the player lifestyle, and it's just you have to be of a different mindset. You have to kind of be a grinder. You have to be one of those guys that just lives football all the time.
Herb was the biggest grinder,
and it just
it seems like that would be easy for him, right?
It could be, and it could be.
I feel like he is I feel like there is some merit to how he lived his career, where he was a film guy.
If you notice too, a lot of the offensive line coaches in the NFL and college, those guys were former offensive linemen, and they're the kind of guys that. Offensive linemen are a different breed. Offensive linemen live for football. They have a thing called the Mushroom Society because you're kept in the dark and you're fed shit, and that's what it is. And
I've never heard that.
So they have the Mushroom Society, and that's what they are. They love football so much because they never get. The only time an offensive lineman gets their name called is if they give up a sack.
Yeah.
Think
or
about
a hold.
Or hold. Think about it. That's the only time you hear offensive linemen's names. So these guys love football, but you talk about guys who Drew Brees has made enough money, and he's famous enough to do whatever he wants to do and still have a life and be around his kids and things like that. And I can tell you, I can attest, now that I got 3 kids, is being out this season and being around my kids has been a refreshing thing for me as being a coach, because I've never had this before. I've never had Christmas week with my kids.
Yeah,
I barely have Christmas with my kids. I mean, you talk about. I've worked every Christmas for the last 12 years.
Yeah,
and
that's wild.
On Christmas Day, I've worked every New Year's Day. I've worked every New Year's Eve, every Christmas Eve, and I'm not complaining about it. I chose that, and I want to be working next year on Christmas and New Year's Eve. Trust me, I want to be working. But at the same time, it's been refreshing to see what life is like on the other side of it a little bit. And I think if you're these guys who have that ability to do that and don't need the money and don't need to do it for retirement or anything like that, then a lot of these guys, they're just going to live their life.
Well, how much of an impact do you think he can make?
I think he'll make a big impact on whoever's still there. That's the problem. Who's there, and that's the.
Just in this game?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like if you're on the Purdue, roster, and they're like, oh, we're bringing in Drew Brees, an alumni, and it's like, what the fuck does he know about us? Like he hasn't been here, and he's going to come in here and try to coach. I know he knows football.
He knows football, and I think that's all they're asking him to do is get the quarterback right for this game. Learn enough of our playbook to be able to give these guys whatever they need so that we can go into this game and be halfway competitive with whatever backup decides to play, because they don't have the problems that LSU has, where it's they've played multiple quarterbacks this year, and they know, okay, well, if Jaden Daniels goes down, we got these guys. Their guy leaves, and it's kind of like, okay, now what? And you got to remember, Purdue's quarterback's brother just died about a month ago, roughly, and it was right before the Big Ten game, and like they weren't even sure he was going to play in that game. And I mean, the kid came out and gave everything he had, but so I understand this kid's got a whole different situation, and I think he's probably just mentally kind of checked out at this point, and. So they're getting these other guys. But I do think that's kind of a cool thing. And, I mean, it is Drew Brees. I mean, you think about this. If Drew Brees walked in here and sat down in that chair right there and, well, next to Lloyd, Lloyd be geeking out. But if Drew Brees walked in right here, like, and whatever he says about the quarterback play, I mean, he could literally say it's best for a quarterback to stand on his head and throw with his left foot. And we'd all kind of go,
Maybe.
Well, tell us more about that. I mean, really, honestly, you probably would. You'd be like, okay, well, apparently you know something. So I'm just joking when I say that. Obviously, for y'all out there, I'm not an idiot. I know you can't throw with you can throw with your left foot if you're a pretty talented soccer player.
Or handless.
Little messy.
You're going to be a soccer player.
But it is. I think it brings instant credibility in that room. It's like I've told the story about when Adrian Peterson walked into my room in Detroit when I was coaching in Detroit, and all of a sudden the rest of these players that thought they were the best thing in the world, all of a sudden Adrian Peterson walks in the room and he's part of the room. All of a sudden there's instant credibility because everything he said to those guys meant something. It wasn't like he was some new player that just walked in the door and everybody's like, who's this guy? I mean, he sat down in the room and everybody like perked up, including me. I ain't gonna lie. I was like, okay, I've got Adrian Peterson's in the room now. Maybe there's some things I can learn. I mean, I think that's where coaches have got to understand too. And this is just total side topic, but if a coach ever thinks he knows everything, then he might as well quit at that point because there's so many things I don't know. And honestly, this year, I've had a chance to talk to a few defensive coaches and ask questions about how to defeat defenses. What do y'all see when you look at offenses? And I've learned so much about the game of football, trying to see it from a different perspective and just asking questions. And I know I don't know everything. And that's where I think if coaches can learn from players, I've always asked players, what did you see? You're the one out there. I don't know what you saw. Tell me, like when they come to the sideline, what did you see? Because you were wrong here, but you were wrong for a reason. Why did you do what you did? But what did you see? And they try to explain to me, these guys are moving around. I couldn't see all. I've had a short running back before that said I just couldn't see over the offensive line. I didn't see what was going on behind them. I lost my linebacker. Okay, it makes sense. And instead of just getting mad and yelling and you should have blocked your guy. Coach, man, I'm 5'8" and they're 6'6". I couldn't see.
I didn't see him.
And okay, cool. I think that's where the short quarterback thing comes into play.
Coach, for context, Purdue's backup quarterback has only attempted 32 passes this season.
Well, there you go. So he'll attempt more passes in this game than he's attempted all season.
And their second leading receiver is their tight end with 560 receiving yards.
Who's their running back now?
Their running back was Devin McCoby. And
I wonder if he opt out. I can't remember if the running back. I think it was a receiver that opted out.
Yeah, their leading receiver opted out. Charlie Jones.
What about the running back? How many yards does their starting running back have?
182 attempts with 920 yards and 9 touchdowns.
And that's in 13 games actually.
Yeah.
So that's roughly what 75, 80 yards a game if you go 13 games. So it's like that's running game. If they're attempting a new quarterback, you better hope your run game's working.
Yeah, because their receivers, it's not looking good over here.
And
talking unders.
But that
talking unders for them, maybe.
But that goes into the way they're preparing though. LSU's preparing for this game. Who do you watch? And Brian Kelly's talked about watching the backup quarterback, and I think what you got to do though is you still look at their offense and what do they do well, because you're not going to ask your backup quarterback to come in and do something new. You're going to ask them to come in. If they're, let's just say in the run game, it's the read zone option where they're reading the pole and maybe it's throwing, maybe they throw RPOs. I have not watched Purdue's offense, so I don't know. But whatever it is that they do well, defend that and then adjust off everything else. Don't think that they're going to come in with some crazy new game plan. They may have a couple plays you got a month to prepare for something. So you're going to come up with some crazy flea flicker or, a reverse or something crazy, but you just got to focus on what they're doing as a base offense. Stop that, play your game. That's the biggest thing. I think with a game like this, and you're talking about those defensive players, play your game, get good at what you do. Come out of this game with an excitement for next season or an excitement for spring ball that allows your team to go into the weight room, get a great start, be excited about being an LSU Tiger, and not have that kind of cloud hanging over them like they did last year. Where what is this? What are we going to be?
Am I going to be here?
Am I going to be here? Does Brian Kelly fit? Is he coming down here talking crazy? What's going on? And I think everybody realizes that Brian Kelly has a plan. He's done a good job. He fits in here. You know, I think people were worried about that Northerner coming in and fitting in this type of environment,
Northerner.
but I think he's done fine.
That
and
yank.
What's that?
That yank.
Yeah, I mean, because think about his whole life and career has been Midwest or North. It has not been in the South, and that's where, you know, I think he's shown he fits in just fine. But you know, these players have got to be excited about football in the spring, and if they do that, then that's when you see big strides going into training camp, and then all of a sudden, that first game. Who's the first game next year? Have they
Florida State?
Is Florida State again?
Mm-hmm.
Where at?
In Orlando, yeah.
In Orlando? Okay, so they won in Louisiana, so LSU probably go to Florida and win. Okay, so that makes sense.
That's how that works.
Yeah.
It's usually how that works.
But again, okay, so Florida State's going to be a good team next year.
Their quarterback's coming back.
Yeah, I mean, there's
coming back.
their coach is going into year 3 or 4 or whatever it is. So I mean, he'll have them rolling, and it'll be a good game. But you got to go into that game knowing who you are. I don't think they knew who they were when they went to the Superdome this year. That's why I think they lost that game. They didn't know who they were because all of a sudden you saw in the second half of that game, it was like, oh,
we're better than Florida State.
We're better than this. So what are we doing? And I think that's where you've got to, build that early and not allow that lull at the beginning, and I think that'll happen. But
and if you're on the defensive side for LSU, if you're Matt House, don't you you empty out the playbook on a quarterback that's played how many snaps? 32 pass attempts. You have a wide receiver. They have a whole new wide receiver crew that's coming in. Don't you just kind of we're about to empty the chamber on these fools?
I think you use everything. I don't think you want to show anything new, but you take everything you've done this year and kind of put it on a rotation. So some teams go by series, some teams go by quarter. It's funny because if you watch the Patriots back when the Patriots were really good, nobody knew what their defense was going to do from game to game. It was game plan defense, but then it was like series to series. So they'd be a 3-down, 3-4 front one series. Next series come out, they're a 4-down front. Next series come out, they play nothing but nickel. It's like, why not do that? Because then all of a sudden this quarterback's going to have his eyes are all going to be big, and he's going to be like, well, what's going on here?
Yeah, Drew Brees ain't suiting up.
Yeah, no doubt.
He can try to help as much as he can, but if you start throwing multiple looks at somebody that has only 38 pass attempts, and it's like, this is not what we've seen on tape.
Or if 40 hits him a couple times.
That's going to be the bigger problem, I'd imagine, for them. I'm sure he's being circled because Ojulari's opted out.
Yep.
Who else has opted out? Jay Ward's going to play in the bowl game. Mekhi Gardner has opted out. So LSU also has some defensive questions in terms of new guys coming in.
But it's Bernard Converse and Jay Ward at outside corner.
But that's fine though. I mean, that may not be where you necessarily want them during the season, during the Alabama game, but it also allows you to see what they can do there if you need them. Because if you watched, I know one of the things I wanted to get to was that the Joe Burrow thing against Tom Brady. But if you watch Cincinnati's defense against Brady the other day, they were down Awuzie already. They're one of their starting corners. So they had a rookie playing. Well, that rookie, Cam Taylor-Britt, gets hurt. All of a sudden, there's a guy with the last name of George. I've never heard of a guy named George playing corner for the Cincinnati Bengals. And I go on the radio 3 times a week in Cincinnati talking about these guys. I've never heard of this guy. They got him playing there, and they've got a rookie Hill out of Michigan that's a safety playing nickel against Tom Brady, and second half shut him down. And but it gives you a chance to say, if it hits the fan, then we've got guys. If need be, we can put them in different places. And I think that's what you use the bowl game for.
Plays over players.
You cross train. This is a time to cross train and get away with it. This is a time where, with your running backs, you work on receiver things so that you can go into empty routes and do things like that, to where all of a sudden, if you got a receiver playing or a running back playing a receiver position in an empty formation, you don't feel like you're kind of hamstrung from using them. You can actually run maybe a post route with them, or you could run, shallow crosses and know he's going to read it right and sit or keep running or whatever it is. And, maybe even run them on like 9 stops, stuff that you don't see running backs do, and get used to them. And I know that's what we would do in spring ball with the pro running backs. That's why you see pro running backs in empty formations a lot, and they run different routes, is because they have time during the year where that's all you're working on, kind of, because you can't hit anybody, you can't do pass pro, one-on-one stuff in the spring, and so you work on that kind of stuff. I think that's where you can get a lot of this stuff taken care of right now and learn. And I think it's a chance for, like I said, the line. I think the offensive line, this is where Brad Davis gets to kind of be that mad scientist and say, let's try some different groups together. Let's see if maybe we got a different set of guys. We got our 2 bookends, and I feel like it's Charles Stern's coming back again, right?
It feels like it, right?
He's not leaving for the league.
No, but there's just been some conversation about LSU trying to find another center in the portal.
Well, I think you got to. I just think you got to push them, because if you're the starter and you bring somebody else in, then you better raise your game. Mm-hmm. And if you don't raise your game, then lose your job. That's what I always told guys too. I said, don't worry about who's behind you. Know they're there and just keep working to get yourself better so that you keep your spot. Because if the guy behind you is pushing you, that's only going to make you better. Or if it doesn't make you better, then they're just going to flip-flop, and then they're the guy. But, don't be scared of competition. If you're scared of competition, then you shouldn't be here in the first place. But anyway, I forgot where I was going with all that. I get on my little rant there. And so we're talking about them replacing the corners.
Yes.
And things.
Mm-hmm. And different players in different positions. Jay Ward's obviously been able to move around a good bit, but you see him going to a corner position whenever he's been safety most of the year. I don't know if we want to keep beating this dead horse, but I do find it interesting with the way that you're talking about bowl game prep. And if Jaden Daniels is healthy, that would almost be an audition for him, kind of for an NFL team, whatever you saw. Yeah. And tell me, I feel like we're probably on the same page here about Mel Kiper. Wherever he comes out with his mocks, I feel like that's taken with a grain of salt. But he was the 5th quarterback on his big board or what have you. So I don't know if this is so much an audition for Jaden to be able to go to the league, or do you see more of what happened against Georgia, where it's like, hey, let's work on different parts of your game as opposed to having to take, use your legs as an ability to kind of win games. Do we work on what you saw against Georgia, like 3-step drops, get the ball out quick? Let's see if we can get the ball to playmakers.
Yeah, I think you gotta work on him being a quarterback as opposed to being what he is. And we know what he can do. If the play breaks down, he can run. Let's get him better this offseason of doing the things that make him a better quarterback, that make him read his reads better, make him use his guys better, make him just be a better quarterback and not just an athlete back there running around that can throw it every once in a while. You want him to be a quarterback that can run, not a runner that plays quarterback.
Right.
And I think that's where, I think he showed that. There's some games where he was really, really good. And we all know he is a quarterback. And I think that's why Mel Kiper has him so high, because he knows when he can come to the league, you can do that with him. But the only reason I would ever use Mel Kiper or any of these guys' mock drafts was if I had a list of my running backs and I was actually scouting these guys, if they had a guy listed really high that I didn't have listed high, it would make me go back and look at him one more time and say, did I miss something? Or if I had a guy that I had as number 3, but he wasn't even on his list, it made me think, maybe am I just being biased to this guy? What am I doing?
Go to A&M.
So
I thought Greg was here.
down there.
I thought Greg was under my chair.
I was wondering what that noise.
No, that was just the pecan pie trying to come get you.
I was just like paralyzed, like, well, this is he's gonna.
Okay,
I'm
looked at me and I just
I'm going to be the one to
computer.
ask this. Why was there a piece missing in the pie when it got dropped off?
Well, you'll have to ask Brian Burgess that.
Brian Burgess in the chat. Brian, we
He's
need
at
to
a work
know.
meeting.
It's just a tiny piece.
We need to know if
I guess
that
you do
was
what
you or if the rat here in the studio got hold of
I've
it.
had it in my possession the entire time since he dropped it off, so it wasn't the rat.
I guess you would want to be, if you made a pie for somebody, you do want to taste it and make sure it's good.
Yeah,
so
maybe so.
Maybe that's what it was.
I would imagine, every good chef taste while they cook.
Mm-hmm.
If you've ever seen it in the kitchen, the little finger swipe makes sure, like, all right, does it need salt? Does it need pepper?
To.
Yeah.
Like a good bartender with a cocktail.
Well, I think that's just a booze bag.
Yes, no doubt.
So?
Yeah.
I think they
if I was a bartender, I would have to taste every drink.
Absolutely.
I got to make sure this thing tastes right.
Hey,
now.
tequila still tastes like tequila.
Well, they just stick a straw in there.
It's not gonna be one of those little baby straws either. I'm gonna get one of those big McDonald's straws.
Yeah.
Those are the best straws.
I'm gonna just go 1 for 1 with you.
Hey, one thing I wanted to hit before we take a break here in a little bit. Where Sam Pittman came out this article about what Sam Pittman's doing right now at Arkansas and during the month of December, and the whole point of it was, did the
oh God, here they go.
Pig C.
There you go. I'll have y'all saying giggle before it's over. But no, they're talking about like that with Mike Leach situation and all the health situations of coaches. Is there something that should be done? Because the early signing period in December got added before NIL got put in, before all the transfer portal became what it is. So everything that these coaches are having to do right when the season ends, is there something they can do? Because really, if you look at, there's like, they listed like 10 things that Pittman does. So he's got to, meet with his staff and his players. And he meets with every player to determine where they are on the team. They got to track the transfer portal. You got to watch the transfer portals. You got to recruit for every position normally that you're recruiting for. If you have coaches leave, you got to interview new coaches. Then you got to put together a plan for your bowl and preparation. Figure out what players are left for that bowl game. Go out for a week or two and hit every one of your commits and possibly some other players that you're trying to get to sign. Swing by as many transfer portal people as you can see in person. Interview these potential candidates. Meet with the media. Talk about all that. Then you got to go to practice.
Sounds like death.
And I'm like, I know. And again, people are going to go, well, I'd love to have that job. Yes, trust me, I would love to have that job too. They get paid very well. But the point of this is and I've been around enough coaches to know this. Coaches do not know when to stop. Coaches don't know when to stop. And
read his number 12. Read his whole number 12.
So number 12, attend Mike Leach's funeral with Hunter Yurachek. It's a lot, even though there was nothing there to incorporate the stress created by NIL. That's because coaches have no control over NIL, only the consequences. And it's like, you talk about.
Read the last line.
It's so much that if something isn't changed, number 12 is going to happen a lot more, and that's attending a coach's funeral. And I will say this, I have known a lot of coaches who have health issues and ignore them. Mm-hmm. And that's the scary thing, because I'll be honest with you, I ignored some health issues for a long time. I had high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, all that. I didn't know. I just knew I didn't feel right. And
men ignore health things a lot too. And
I went in.
Men coaches, then
I went in to see my doctor, and the nurse took my blood pressure, literally gave me a death stare, and walked out of the room. Didn't say anything. My doctor, who was actually a friend of mine, Shea up in Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky, walks in and she goes, "How are you alive?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" My blood pressure was 190 over 120.
What's it supposed to be?
Okay. 120 over 80.
Oh, God. I haven't been to the doctor.
He was in the negatives.
And so but
I don't feel too good.
Operating in the red.
I knew like my heart felt weird. I knew I was always kind of
had supposed to be able to feel it.
I had this stress, like I could feel it right here in between my eyes, right above my nose. And now that I've been put on blood pressure medication, I don't feel any of this anymore. Like I don't feel my heartbeat. Like I'm just doing what it's supposed to do. Like, I mean,
damn.
No, when I tell you, when I tell you, I mean, it was like, I mean, I could feel it. And come to find out, I was type 2 diabetic. My A1C was like 13, and it's supposed to be under 6. So I've got that under control. So the point being, I was not even worried.
You were so in it.
I wasn't even worried about it. I was just like, this is how I feel. This is what I do. I might not even be here if I wouldn't have had that doctor's appointment. And there's a lot of coaches that do that. And I just think that if there's something to that. And I'm not saying changing the early signing period is that, but I think coaches have got to start thinking of themselves a little bit more, or they're going to fall into what happened. I'm not saying that's what happened to Mike Leach, but I can guarantee you coaching had something to do with a heart issue. One or two things. Either the stress led to it, or he didn't necessarily realize that he had that issue. Because I was 35 when I realized that, when I was having those issues. That's what was scary about it. I think back to it, I was like, I was 35 having these issues. You know, what about a 61-year-old who
is already a little bit aloof
ways and
Mm-hmm.
you know, I mean, maybe he did, I don't know, but and again, I didn't know him personally. I'm not saying that's what it was. I'm just saying, but there's coaches out there I know that need to take better care of themselves. And I'm putting it out there, coaches. If y'all are listening, you know, so I got a lot of good coaching friends that I know are stress balls, and you know, I would love to see them chill out just a little bit, because you know, I'd like to be friends with them when we're you know 80, but. You know, and again, some of these coaches too. Think about Joe Paterno, Bear Bryant, all these guys who coached all these years and then they stopped coaching, and then boom, they're gone.
That's true.
And I think it's because their body doesn't know what's going on. You know,
right?
Yeah.
Like their body and their mind don't know how to handle not
coaching,
doing what they were doing,
or being under that amount of stress. Nick Saban.
It's going to happen to Nick. That's what I was going to say.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to happen to Nick Saban. I feel like.
Yeah.
I mean, his skin's already splitting in half.
Rest in peace.
See, I think Nick Saban he'll be the coach that dies after he stops coaching.
That's what he's saying.
That's right. The one coach that I didn't know was this old until probably about 2 years ago. My man at Seattle,
Pete Carroll.
Pete Carroll, yeah, he looks young though.
He's like 72 or 73 years old. I mean, he acts like he's 40. He's bouncing around all over the place.
He still plays. He plays quarterback in 7-on-7.
I mean, it's crazy.
Does he really?
Yes. He goes out there and plays quarterback and dices people up, and they're like, "I'm getting beat by Pete Carroll," and he's like, he loves it.
In his pre-draft visit, he took his shirt off for DK Metcalf.
And then DK Metcalf took his shirt off. It was like, I guess we're drafting you.
I like you. I like you too. Let's do it.
Well, let's do this. Let's take one more break. We do have a guest in the building. So Caskey's Clicker is brought to you every week by Citizens Bank and Trust. Well, we have probably the rock star of Citizens Bank and Trust, Jared McLaughlin, is with us.
Damn, I'm gonna look worse.
I'm gonna tell you right now, it's gonna be the best looking dude in this place right now.
What is that?
We're gonna have him come in, join us,
is that real?
Talk to us. He is
that hair.
I've known Jared for a while now, and he can actually speak some sports too. So we're gonna let him get his 2 cents in on a few things.
Yeah,
and
come cut your teeth in here.
Maybe hang out during the clicker, since he's paying for it.
That's right.
I mean,
might as well be a part of it. So, yeah, absolutely.
When we come back, we'll get into that. And Katie, what we got?
Yeah, it's brought to you by Barker Brothers Plumbing. No social media, no website. You have to call them at 225-776-2431. If you mention the Jordy Culotta Show, you can save 15%. They have trucks all over Baton Rouge. They're #1 and a #2 business. Barker Brothers Plumbing Works.
Oh, perfect time for them. Isn't it Christmas season? Isn't that what happens?
Yeah. That is what happens. People clog up your toilets.
If you got, I got three boys living in my house and me. There's a lot of clogged toilets.
And flushing socks.
Nice. Call Barker Brothers.
Hurry up and get the socks in the trash can before Dad sees it.
We'll break this thing in half.
Donaldsonville Glass and Body, the trusted name in frame, body, and automotive paint repair since 1977. They have served their customers for over 45 years. You can find them online at dgbauto.com or stop in and see them Railroad Avenue and Division Street out in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Look, they can help you with your insurance claims. They can make the repair process as stress-free as possible. I'm speaking from experience here. I've got numerous windshields, body repair, all done by Kenny and the crew over at Donaldsonville Glass and Body. They are, without question, the most well-equipped shop in the area. Stop in and see them today. Shop them online, dgbauto.com, or stop in and see the crew over in Division Street in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Donaldsonville Glass and Body. Hey fellas, it's Jordy Culotta for my friends over at Men's Total Health. Guys, do you suffer from fatigue? Decreased libido, erectile dysfunction, weight gain or loss of muscle mass, signs of depression, anxiety, hair loss, mental fog, general loss of interest, then you might be suffering from low testosterone. Go see my friend Mike Roach and his great team over at Men's Total Health, over in Metairie at menstotalhealth.net online, and stop in and see how they can change your life today. A simple shot and some knowledge from Mike Roach can get you back up, moving with your energy, get your sex drive back, build your muscle mass, make you feel young again. All online, menstotalhealth.net. Red Stick Sports, a local staple in Baton Rouge to all sports fans, was founded back in 1981 and has remained a family business for over 40 years. Today, they still have the great selection on the floor, but they're also a leader in custom apparel for businesses, sports teams, and other groups. Take it from us, everybody over here at FM Digital Media. They help us out with all of our apparel. Let them help you out today. Go ask for Cody over at Red Stick Sports. Check him out online at redsticksports.biz. I was embarrassed about my smile. Are you unhappy at yours? Do you not smile back at yourself? I called my friend, Dr. Spillers, over at Johnson & Spillers. He fixed my smile, and now everywhere I go, people are complimenting it after the work that Dr. Spillers and the staff did to my mouth. They can do it to yours. Get in touch with them. JohnsonSpillers.com. 2 locations, one in Gonzales, one in Baton Rouge. Easy to find them, JohnsonSpillers.com.
All right, welcome back. I just saw myself up on the screen, man. My Dapper Dan hair is going on today. I still haven't gotten it sent to me, by the way. Whoever was going to send that to me.
I don't want fuck. So, God damn it! I'm a Dapper Dan man.
Give me my Dapper Dan. So,
Coach, you got some competition once we go to this 2 show.
Oh yeah. So, want to bring in. He is a good friend of mine, but he's also the reason that Caskey's Clicker is has a sponsor from Citizens Bank and Trust here in town. We got Jared McLaughlin here. I met Jared at church, actually. We were at a Struma church. My wife and I were sitting on a pew, and him and his wife were sitting in the pew in front of us, and we became friends. And here we are, sitting in the Jordy Culotta show. So I just want to...
So y'all were talking during church?
Yes. Doesn't everybody?
I haven't been in a minute, Coach. But I know
that's supposed to talk during church.
Yeah. I used to chew gum. And then this was at school, and when somebody would go to sit down and make them sit in gum. That was my whole deal at Menard. Yeah,
I'm not sure Jesus likes that.
Well, all you have to do is apologize.
I think somebody needs some repentance.
Yeah, I did. If you just say you're sorry, it's okay.
But introduce you to Jared. Jared, nice to have you.
Hey, thanks for having me here. I'm Jared McLaughlin. I'm the Vice President of Branch Development and Strategy at Citizens Bank and Trust, and we are proud to be sponsors of this show. Enjoy the the friendship I've shared with Kyle since we met at church, but really enjoyed learning all these new things since I've been watching his show. I've been watching football for a long time from a layperson's perspective, but now I know about mesh routes, and now I even know why it's called a post pattern. I knew what it was, but I didn't know.
Where does a bench route go?
Towards the bench.
Hey,
every time I see it, I'm like, "There's a bench route happening."
And in coaching, in the spirit of nice and naughty, coaching has some things like man tip and everything.
Yes.
So
you got man rubs and. Yeah.
So thanks for informing me on all that, Coach.
Yeah. So,
would you all watch the Penn State offense?
Now, so where did you grow up?
I grew up originally in Houma, Louisiana.
Okay, so that makes you LSU and a Saints fan.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, I went to my first Saints game when I was 3 years old. That was the paper bag days, and I remember. I don't remember. I actually looked up the box score since then to see what happened, but I remember the emotions of what happened. And we were ahead until the fourth quarter, and then basically lost to the Jets in the fourth. So that was a typical Saints story back then.
Yeah, I'd say unfortunately it's been a story about them this year too. But I think the big thing, and we hadn't really brought up the Saints yet, but the Saints are actually a game out of the lead in the division, and I believe still have to play the Bucs, right?
That's
again.
Right. Yeah.
Do they have one more game against each other?
I think so. So they've got 3 games left.
They
actually, I believe they
That's
do.
not right.
I believe it's the last game of the year.
Hold on.
I may be wrong.
Jared, pull that mic in a little
Yeah,
bit
they
closer
got
to you. Make it uncomfortable
Saints
for
versus
you.
Browns, Saints, Eagles, Panthers, Saints. So
Panthers. That's okay.
Yeah,
so
the Bucs have to lose all.
The Bucs
three
have to
of
lose
theirs.
one. Bucs have to lose one, right?
I think they have to lose, almost go 0 for 3.
Did the Saints beat the Bucs?
No.
They did not. Okay,
They
so
should
they
have.
may have to
Remember,
lose 2.
Mark
okay.
Ingram went out of bounds.
Which could happen, obviously, with the Bucs right now. I mean, we all did. I guess we all saw the Bengals Bucs game this weekend, and
17-0.
4 turnovers by the GOAT
Against a guy named George.
Against a guy named George.
Yeah.
Yes. Do you know a guy named George that plays corner?
Who's that?
That's his
exactly.
last name, right?
That's his last name. Yeah. I have never seen a guy named George playing for the Bengals, but apparently there's a guy named George playing corner for the Bengals.
Bucs have the Cardinals, Panthers, and Falcons left, so I'd imagine they'd have to lose 2 of those 3 divisional games.
All 3 of those teams have losing records too.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen for the Saints, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Andy can finally ride off into the sunset.
Listen, Andy hasn't been the issue. Andy has not been the issue
lately.
Well, maybe for one game. Arizona game, I'll give him that one, but I'll still back my guy Andy.
You're gonna sign him again whenever you get a job.
I might sign him at running back. I don't know.
Somebody's got some feelings, right?
Yeah. No. So one thing we didn't get to, Jared, and you get to sit in on this to start. There was some interesting stuff happening out there in the world outside of just the games. Break-ins. Robert De Niro's house got broken in by somebody who had been broken into 22 times, a burglar who'd been arrested 22 times in New York City. We had Hacksaw Jim Duggan got somebody broke in his house, and he pile drived him or whatever, and then put a gun to his head, and the cops came in and got him. And so there's crazy things happening, but I think the craziest, y'all see the Willie McGinnis thing?
Oh, you sent it to us last night.
So,
that was a hit.
So if anybody's seen this Willie McGinnis thing, it's he works for NFL Network, former player for the Patriots. It's one of those things like this video is as damning of a video as you're going to have, because this guy's just sitting there eating dinner, and this whole group just comes up. It is a mob hit, and I couldn't believe it when I saw it. And I mean, it's everywhere on the internet. Stu, you got that ready to roll? I mean,
it's brought to you by Citizens Bacon Trust.
Yeah, this is brought to you by Citizens.
This sound bad.
So,
I mean, it's got
anyway, I just thought that was crazy. I mean, because everybody's heard of that. I think it's been on the news enough, but I'm actually clicking through, and I mean, it's on every news channel's website.
Yeah, I mean, that's a TMZ.com.
It doesn't matter if it's Fox News or MSNBC. It's on everybody's news channel right now, but. I just thought that was crazy, but I want to get everybody riled up because I've got some good clicker coming up. So, do you guys want to go straight into it, Katie? You're the head of production over here.
Go straight into it.
All right, so I had to throw my all right in there. We good to go now? All right. So, Jared, you chime in as much as you want. The rest of everybody else does too. Katie, I expect your perspective. So, one of the things I looked at today is like Philadelphia Eagles. They're 13-1. Am I correct on that? They're 13-1, right?
Mm-hmm.
So not many teams are 13-1, and not many. I'm just saying overall in general in the history of the league, not many teams have gone 13-1. Well, what is it that they're doing so well? Everybody says Jalen Hurts, and I agree with that. I'm going to show you their run game, and the reason I want to show you some of this run game is I want you to see when the passes come around how it kind of matches up, but I also want you to see some of the crap that this dude's throwing up that's getting caught. And so we look at their run game, the quarterback draw. So Jalen Hurts obviously is a good quarterback, but he's also known as a runner. You know, I believe LSU played him twice at least, right?
I played him Oklahoma and at Alabama.
Okay, so
I played him 3 times.
Yeah, so as we're watching this, just there's, you know, the quarterback. If you're an empty, and again, you know what I mean by empty is, you know, the running back's left out of here. You're looking now to see, am I able to? I have 5 blockers here? Do I have 5 blockers who can block 5 guys? Because this guy they're saying is going to go out here and cover. So if you watch this, you know that's what happens here. And they've got a good system of if that's not there, then he's going to throw the ball. And you know, he's just making guys miss. I mean, it's no big deal. Now he fumbled the ball there. Now that's the one thing I have noticed. They fall on all their fumbles, which is, you know, kind of lucky.
Luck,
I guess.
Always got a lineman trailing.
Now I want you to
follow the ball.
So if
LSU could learn from
if you have this kind of block right here, if somebody blocks down and somebody pulls around, Katie, that is called a fold block.
Okay.
Okay. So if the center does it, what is it called? If the center does it,
center fold.
It'd be a center fold
Really?
block,
It really
right?
is?
So you
Center
know what
fold?
you know what this block is
Cute.
called? So when they get to the line, he yells, "Playboy, Playboy!"
Aw, that's
So anybody,
cool.
so it's kind of a Playboy is a center fold block. So anyway,
I like it.
learned something new right there. So
Yeah.
I like that.
and again, it goes back to bench routes and post routes and corner routes and stuff. So you see how he did that. See how he folded around. Guard's going to block down. He sits back and folds
he's saying,
around.
Playboy.
But see, that's why the lineman was right there. He just missed this block, low key, and then
Yeah, I mean,
fell into the ball.
So there, you know, there's, and again, here's another
Did
look
Kelsey
at.
recover that fumble too?
Yes.
Yeah.
He was the lead blocker.
Yeah, that's what I think makes the Eagles' run game so special is they probably have the most athletic center in football.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, and also we didn't get into this, but the Eagles have put out a Christmas album.
Oh yeah,
So,
they did.
yes.
They did. The whole team.
Damn,
So-
that's Super Bowl
Philadelphia Eagles,
stuff.
not the Eagles.
No, the Philadelphia Eagles. So if you look here,
Philadelphia.
so we would call this like tie or text motion, depending on if he was going to the Y or the X. So there's your tight end. So this would be like tie motion, tailback towards the Y. And what they're doing is, you see how this dude's running out? Again, that leaves 5 defenders in the box. And if that guy did not run out, then
Kelsey
he
again.
would actually throw that ball, as opposed to just, you know, running it. So they're doing things. That's what gives you the ability when you've got a running quarterback, is being able to have things like this happen to where you can run a guy out. Okay, easy. No Playboy block on that one.
So what would this play be called in the huddle?
It would be QB draw. It'd be like spread left tie QB draw, and they know on QB draw that they're blocking for that motion that was going out, and the guys on the outside are knowing it. And that'd probably be the easiest way to do it. Some of this stuff's just got to be understood. Some coaches may say the whole play, you know, spread left tie, quarterback draw, halfback bubble, or something. Yeah, whatever. So here's a lead draw. Now this is interesting because again, now you've got a 6th blocker in here. So now you've got this guy who can go. He's trying to lead up really on this guy, but the center took him because this guy ran out. So that back's actually going to work up to this guy. So you damn near got everybody blocked right here, and you know you can see he gets through. And again, it's just using the quarterback with this is something I think that they're doing just because they can. I mean, I know it's not every team's going to run their quarterback like that.
But whenever you see stuff like this, does it not make you wonder why the Saints don't? I know you're a big Andy guy, but couldn't you do this with Taysom Hill?
You could, and I think they do. But it's more of a wrinkle than it is the offense.
Right, that's what I'm saying. You could almost change your offense with the way that it's
You
looked.
could.
And isn't there a difference? Taysom Hill, when he comes in, it sort of telegraphs a certain intent.
Yeah, but the good thing about Taysom Hill is he's also a quarterback, so he can throw. It's not like you're bringing a wildcat running back in. So when you bring a Taysom Hill in, you still have that threat of throwing. So that's the biggest thing.
The only thing is they leave Andy on the field, so it's like
not all the time though.
Not all the time. If you've been paying attention.
No,
to
if you saw the big pass he had, the big touchdown pass he had this past week, and Andy was on the field. So
gotta go out there and cover Andy.
Mm-hmm.
Now I do like this play. We call this twin. This was a tackle pull. So what they're doing here is they're actually pulling the backside tackle instead of like a guard on a power scheme, and it creates different reads because the linebackers are usually taught to read through the guard. Well, when the linebackers usually if this guy pulls, the linebackers see it and you'll see him pointing. Well, usually it just takes a second longer for them to see the tackle pull. So when they're pulling the tackle here, you'll see they're blocking here. He's really pulling around for this guy, and this it's not clean, but and I think this Kenneth Gainwell kid, that 14, that young back they've got, he's a good back. Here's another look, and they do it just a little bit differently. So on the last one, they brought him. He came across and was running this way. On this one, tackle's going to pull around from this side. He's going to step in and then go here. So it just gives you a different misdirection with the linebackers and everybody. Because usually when the running backs decides to go a certain direction, a lot of times you look at where the running back is aligned and you think, okay, he's probably running. If he's aligned on this side, he's probably running in this direction, as opposed to doing that. So what they're doing here is they're trying to do not only misdirection but pulling a different guy. So when he comes down in here, it holds him just long enough for him to get up on there. If you see
seven could have made the play if he wasn't standing flat-footed when
Yeah.
the ball was snapped.
Well, I think that's where you have to respect Jalen Hurts.
But I mean, in that case, right there, like you see. Like, he could see the lineman pulling. Like, I know he could see him in his peripherals coming.
Now
he just steps up in the gap.
Now you saw
Still
the
in position to make the play on the read too.
You saw the backside tackle pull. Now you're going to see the front side guard, and I believe the center. It's either the center or backside guard. I can't remember on this one, but they're going to end up running a G play around this side. This guy 55 is the rookie for Green Bay. He's playing this really wide alignment, and his whole job is to keep contain over here. Well, this tight end's going to kind of step up and pass him by, and they're going to kick him out. And it's like, it's one of those things where
Gotta run yourself up.
and you just run around him. But they're doing all these pulling plays and different things like this. And then if you get to like this view of it, you got
it's the Kelsey show.
And again, Kelsey here, you get that guy in space, and even though he's getting older, he still has an ability to move. And that's what he's always been known as. What did you say?
How old is he?
He's probably late 20s or 30 by now. He's the brother of Travis Kelsey, obviously.
Genes.
So I mean, they got good genes. So we're talking about strong side counter. And what I mean by strong side counter is now you're pulling the guard to kick, you're pulling this tight end around like this, and they're in pistol. So he's actually going to go to this side of the quarterback. Quarterback's going to turn like he's reading over here. So again, you talk about respecting the quarterback. You have to respect the fact that he can still pull it. Your running back's coming this way, so all of a sudden you're thinking that guy's probably going to step this way, but the play's actually coming back around to this side. So it's just a ton of misdirection. You can see when that guy pulled that one linebacker ran out of there, but again, you get bodies on bodies, and
they're a problem.
Sanders is a good back. I think a lot of people were mad at him because I guess he fell down and took a knee or something.
Fantasy.
And fantasy points screwed people, but you can see they're kicking here. Then this guy's going to pull or go around. So he's reading this block. This guy, the second puller, is reading this. So if he sees his numbers, he'll turn up. If he blocks like around him, then he'll go around him. And it's a quick read. And then the running back's following the second puller. And it's simple scheme, and then really this is where I think you're going to get into the issues with Jalen Hurts is all the read zone stuff. Because if you're watching, this is actually a pretty cool play. So they're jet motioning. So they're going to bring this guy over jet motion. They're going to run zone. They're going to arc him, and they're going to bring him around. So you got two blockers for the quarterback if he pulls, and you've still got your zone, and you've got this dude running over here grabbing eyes. There's a lot of a lot of bodies going in different areas right there. So you end up with 2 blockers out here for the quarterback when he pulls. I mean, I think you give Jalen Hurts, that's kickoff return at that point.
So they just create a lot of hesitation.
That's all you're doing. You're creating hesitation. You're creating uneasiness within the defense, because if your quarterback can run it, you're taking somebody out of the play somewhere. So again, you can see he's not blocking. They're actually reading this guy. They're reading Thibodeau.
Mm-hmm.
So even though he's releasing inside, he's trying to get back out. And when he pulls it, he's on him. He's on him, and it creates that lane right there. And
he went way too far down that side.
And Thibodeau, they obviously had 2 other guys outside. So they probably said, Thibodeau, you can be a little bit more aggressive because they got 2 guys. Well, they weren't expecting that other tight end to come around the backside.
They cleared MetLife out too.
And then,
a lot of people.
And then obviously you give the same type of look here, but you just hand the ball off. And again, when you blitz into a read, like this, you either block it but it's usually a handoff. So Jalen Hurts isn't going to pull that with a blitzer off the edge. So they're doing a lot of good things. And again, he's coming around. Really, his job is actually not to block this guy. His job was to come around and pick off that linebacker, who's now walked over here, obviously. But his job is to block for the quarterback. See how they're not blocking this guy? Quarterback's actually reading that, but they blitzed this guy outside and they scraped a guy. So what does that mean? Well, if they scraped him out here and they blitzed him off the edge and he's sitting here.
We got numbers the other way.
Well, there's numbers over here. So, again, that's what they're doing with the offense right now to create all this. Now, this is probably one of my favorite plays just in general. I'm not talking about from Philadelphia, but I'll show this from the end zone because it's pretty cool. This is just, we called this, some people call it Wham, some people call it Webster. But I want you to watch what they do here with 91. Sorry, I didn't mean to. Let me get it back to where it was. Okay, so
trap game, huh?
Yeah, so it's kind of it's a trap, but it's a wham. So what they're doing, they're gonna kind of step in here. They want him to fly up the field, and then they're gonna go up the field like this.
They love getting Caskey on the second level.
Then I want you to watch what this guy does, because this tight end's gonna come wham him right here.
Wham.
And see, they're gonna split him, get to the linebackers, and all of a sudden, if this guy just gets on him right there, I mean, that's clear to the free safety. So, and then Jalen Hurts, I believe, had 4 rushing touchdowns in this last game against Chicago. 3 of them were quarterback sneaks. And I just want to show you, this is kind of cool. You see where the line is right here? Well, Kelsey plays what position? Center. Well, he's lined up at guard.
Oh.
Okay, I want you to watch what they do. Do you think he's under the wrong guy? Maybe.
I've seen it happen with you.
No, we're gonna scoot on over. So everybody scoots in. Now watch where Jalen Hurts goes. He goes around the edge. Wow. Oh, Lloyd's mind blown right now. By the way,
I just don't know why people do this.
The line shifted over. Everybody shifts down in here. So he's thinking, oh yeah, I'm gonna go there. Sure. Boom, and he pops around the edge.
Formation.
I mean, how easy is that? I mean,
and now you want, this is the one that gets me, and I've seen this by multiple teams. What formation is this normally?
Victory.
This is victory formation, right?
Without the dude in the back, he's just
okay. So what they're doing here is they've put extra guys all behind, just like victory formation.
We pushing,
and all these dudes are doing is pushing the whole pile.
It's rugby.
It's a rugby scrum, and
except
if you look,
3, he wasn't pushing.
They did it again. Down at the other end, same formation, just push them in there, no big deal. So
the Bears are just getting worked.
Point being that those were he had 3 rushing touchdowns off of sneaks in this past game. But if you look at the stats, you'll see. I believe he had 4 because I think he had a draw or something he scored on too. But you look at it, man, he had all his rushing touchdowns. He must be running all over the place. Man, he got in victory formation and got pushed in. But still, it counts, right?
Absolutely.
Stewie kicked me off for 2 seconds here.
It does indeed count.
So. That was the run game. Leading into the pass game, some of the stuff you can kick me back on here. Some of the stuff for the pass game. Now we talked about what he does with his feet. So again, scrambles. So if you watch what he does here, so this is just basic drop back here. You got a lot of kind of man coverage running out, and all of a sudden here he goes just running, and now you got 2 big big dudes trying to chase him down. At this point, he's like, screw it, I'm just going to go out of bounds. I'll probably sneak it in from that point. So there's one scramble. Second scramble here, again, you got to remember these rush lanes. I talked about that a lot with the LSU breakdowns. Is if these guys rush past the quarterback, then all of a sudden these guys kind of get in their lanes. There's ways for these quarterbacks to get out. And he even had a spy on him right here. I want you to watch the guy spying him. The guy spying him, like, trips out. I believe it's at number 7 again.
7's just having a bad
Is this guy right here. This guy's spying the quarterback. That guy has QB all the way. And I want you to watch how he reacts. He actually steps. He's shadow. And then, I mean, this guy's just making guys miss here.
Two-hand touch right now, Coach.
So, point being, there's that. Now, this is impressive. So, we talked about him running the ball, scrambling. Now we're in empty. Okay, so he's going to end up scrambling up here to the top. These guys, there's going to be a guy that's going to be in this area. He's going to run towards the sideline here in just a second. So, when we get up here, I want you to watch this guy. I believe it's this guy right here. It's one of these two guys right here that's going to end up right here on the sideline. But see how Jalen Hurts is already going behind the Citizens logo over here. Throws it across his body, dimes it on the sideline. Like, this to me from the end zone, if you watch him throw this ball, anybody who's thrown a ball across their body, what I mean by is you're running left, but then you've got to turn and throw like this.
That is indeed Smitty.
That's tough. And then to put it on, and again, when I start showing you some balls that he's throwing here in a minute on these deep balls, he throws some crazy stuff. Now that's the guy.
Smitty, man.
That's the Heisman Trophy winner right there.
When I saw him throw that ball,
that's Tom throwing that ball.
So now let's get into it. These are go balls. Now
Smitty.
This is a 50-50 ball. So everybody loves 50-50 balls. And what I mean by that, we're just throwing it down here and
go up and get it.
You don't know who's going to catch that. I mean, he could get interference, whatever. Ball is right there. You can see it on the goal line. So as it's coming down, and again, just go up and get it. Like, come on, man. That's A.J. Brown right there, and he got traded from the Titans, and that's against the Titans.
Just got their GM fired.
I think the play before this, they called a touchdown back, and he just threw it back to him.
And look, I mean, that's just going up and getting it. Now that's okay. You could call that a dangerous pass. Where I don't think the other guy's going to intercept that. Now this is again, we talk about the back shoulder. I think back shoulders you cannot defend back shoulder throws if you're a good back shoulder throwing team. And I want you to watch him. And again, back shoulders, if this guy's running here and he's here, but this guy's on top, and what I'm saying, he's further downfield than the defender he's got in man, you want to try to throw the ball back shoulder. If this guy's running and this guy's trailing behind him, then you throw it over the top. Does that make sense? So that's why you would throw a back shoulder. So as they're running here and he turns, he sees he's still kind of on top right there. So as he's running here, he throws this thing way back shoulder and again just falls in. And I mean,
God, they've just revamped their entire offense in a year.
And it's everything they're doing is just downfield vertical. They're a very, very vertical throwing game. This one's crazy to me because this is a double move. Again, A.J. Brown, he's going to double move down here and go. This guy's going to hold him. He actually gets called for holding right here.
That's Christian Ford.
Hell yeah.
So watch. He's going to get called. This is bad holding too. Just to keep your eye on down here. So, I mean, he just runs flat over him.
Come on.
And then look at, there's nobody in the screen.
It's offensive pass interference.
No, they called defense, and he just walks him backwards. But you can't. The problem with that was the reason it was an offensive PI is because it was a defense.
The intent.
It's the defender. He was still running his route, but again, when you can back in the end zone, you're doing something right. This is what I call a stomp throw, and I've talked about this throw before. It's that inside fade route where you got somebody breaking in like this underneath. This here is a very very dangerous throw. This is almost a stupid throw here.
Smitty.
So here's that safety breaking right here. You got a guy underneath. This is that throw. Remember I was talking about with Nuss, and then like Burrow threw that pass against Cleveland where it was like he just zipped it right in there and there was a safety right there. Like, watch these throws. I mean, there's no reason that should be caught, number one, and there's no reason that should be a touchdown. Number two. Mm-hmm. So there's he's throwing ball. He's taking chances, and I think that's the mentality. If you watch their head coach, like Sirianni is a fiery dude, man.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's going after people, but there's no reason that you got a guy on your feet, you got a guy running across your face, that should be what it is. But again, you know, it's what it is.
Can't hit anybody anymore.
Now, this is just an absolutely perfect throw. Just the use of the red line, and if you watch, when I say the red line, there's a line. It's kind of hard to see right here, but there's a line that people draw like in between the numbers and the hash, and you see how he's running right about where that is. Why do you think he wants to keep that space, Katie? Why if you're running a go ball, why do you want
camera in the way?
Sorry, why do you want to keep space at the bottom of the screen? Why don't you want to get right next to the sideline?
I don't, because you'll get knocked out.
Yeah, it's the 12th defender.
You want, it's your 12th defender. You want the quarterback to be able to play you. You want to leave room so the quarterback can lay it. See how he lays
it's
it?
that camera that's in the way.
But see how he lays it right over the top, right there, about 2 yards from the sideline. And again, you do that, and now watch this. It's like, he was down, but it's just the ball's on the ground a lot. I will say the ball's on the ground a lot with Philadelphia. But now the reason I want to bring this up is I think this could come and haunt them at some point. And again, I mean, look, see how he's holding. See, there's a red line on practice fields. It's
Mm-hmm.
roughly 5 to 6 yards depending on the coach from the sideline, and that's why you hold that, because you give them that amount of room to operate and to fade you away from the defender. But again, you know,
should stay sideline.
I think this thing can backfire if they keep trying this and it doesn't
It's going to be
work,
a game,
because it's almost every game. And if you watch, this is a perfect throw to number 11 again. So you're play actioning. Now, again, why do you play action?
Hold.
You play action to try to sometimes hit something over the top of the underneath coverage. But watch this throw. I mean, that again's a perfect throw. If you see this from the end zone, again, holding that red line by Brown, and you don't see the route here, but you'll see it when the ball gets to him. But it's, again, Jalen Hurts, I think, is whatever he did in the offseason to work on his accuracy, he's dropping some dimes now. I mean, look where he drops that ball. I mean,
wow.
That's pretty incredible.
He drops that ball right there.
And wouldn't you say that, like, as a coach, it's not something that you can actually teach? Wouldn't that, like, kind of an old adage, is like your accuracy is your accuracy? It's not something that you can really get. It's not something that you develop to be this good at it.
I think you can get better at it, but if you never had it, you're probably not going to get. Like, I'm not going to go out and be able to throw balls like that.
Is it mechanics? Is it to be consistent with your mechanics?
It's mechanics. It's understanding of where the guy's going to be. I think there's a chemistry between these receivers and Hurts right now. And, you know, like this right here, this is another 50-50 ball. And, you know, again, you throw it up. You know, you just throw this ball up again, red line, you know, holding that red line right there. But again, 50-50 ball, and these guys are coming down with them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when, you know, when you have trust that your guys are going to come down with these balls, that's when you can really, you know, get better at it. Now moving into like some play action, deep post clear routes. So if you remember sail routes, Katie?
Yeah, the little triangle shape.
Yeah.
Thing.
So we got a guy in the flat. We got a guy breaking here, and you usually have a clear or a post. So this usually you put your one of your fastest guys right here, and they're clearing this out, and they're really trying to take two guys out of this so that somebody comes open underneath. Well, when you've got speed right here and this guy jumps up, so this guy jumps up to go cover this, watch how open this gets. I mean,
hand.
And it's just all that is a clear route or a deep post, probably more of a clear route in this case. But again,
look at the tight end stance. Look at 88.
Oh yeah, they get in those little frog stances. But I mean, you're talking about just running straight past guys, and then that's a drop coverage. I get it. Now, this is just another clear route, another clear route right here. This guy's just clearing out because this guy's going to end up running a deep, a dagger. So 11's just clearing out. 11's just trying to take guys out of here so that this guy comes open right here, which he does.
Take a shot?
Which he does. I want to say that's where you should, if you're reading this out, you should probably throw it there. you've got a guy over the top, a guy here. Now watch where this ball gets thrown. Like I don't even think see how 11 stopped. I think he realized, oh, I better start running again. That's a touchdown. Like Micah Fitzpatrick's like, you gotta be kidding me, man. Like
he had it in his hand.
Well, no, 11's like, why are you even throwing it to me?
No, 11 stopped.
That's what I'm saying. I did my job by clearing him out
because he's really supposed to be throwing to this guy. And he's, Brown's like, oh, here we go.
I guess I'll go get 6.
Again, double coverage on this one again, and this is what gets me. Like,
Manders,
another clear route, you're throwing into that. That's got to be an interception, right? You would think. No.
They're just 50-50 people to death.
But that's what gets me is like everybody's like, man, he's just throwing for a bunch of yards. Yeah, he is, but he's chunking his ball up with a prayer. I mean, that's a heck of a catch. And again, it goes to that, F it, he's down there somewhere.
So yeah, throw it.
Smitty down there somewhere.
Wait, that's what I think the difference is. They made the change from, is Rieger still on the team? Or no, he went to the Vikings. So I'm saying you bring in A.J. Brown, you bring in Smitty, and they've revamped the offense, and it kind of feels like a little bit of what they did at Oklahoma for Jalen Hurts.
Now again, this ends up being the three level thing. This is more of and again you got the clear out right here. This is that thing that a lot of those colleges you saw running was the 3 level with that guy kind of trailing back in, so that you got a guy. It's like you're flooding the field to the bottom here, but you've got a guy clearing out the top. Again, he's just saying, screw it, I'm throwing this thing, man. I mean, he just beat him over the top. Now he gets the ball knocked out here, and they actually lose this one. So again, I think that's if Philly has a kryptonite right now, it's going to be one of these passes is going to be too short, or they're going to fumble it away, and I think that's where they're getting. There is something there to that. Again, the next few of these are crossing concepts. Okay, so we're talking about clear. You're clearing out up here, and you're crossing guys across the field, and he's actually hitting those crossers. But right here, I'm sorry, this one he actually still threw this one. So I'll get into the crossers here in a second. But he's saying this is that clear out route, and you're trying to get. It's kind of the same concept you just saw, but they're going to start hitting those guys here in just a minute. But again, another touchdown.
Heard said Chicks dig the long ball, coach.
There's no doubt. So here right here is is throwing a. See a clear route right there. Now this thing, what they did was they came in here like they were going to run that cross route, and then he bent it back out. So that right there, when you run enough of these crossers, so when you run enough of the crossers, you end up being able to do this. You can pull that. It's called, some people call it a jersey, but he runs like he's running that crosser, so you get him to commit and then pop it right back out there and. It's a way to trick them out.
And was that scripted like that, or is that wide receiver making an adjustment?
No, that was scripted that way. They had probably thrown that crossing route enough. Well, and obviously they've thrown the post and the clear route off of it enough. Again, here's another crossing route, and these are simple things. But if you see, I mean, a lot of this stuff is just, again, you got your clear out route right here. Really got here. Really, that ended up being kind of just a switch. They end up just running this switch like all go type of thing, and then you run this crosser in right underneath it, and simple stuff. You get the ball in one of your good players' hands, and they're doing that. Here's a look at this one. Here is just I think this is an RPO. I think, and really all they're doing is like they're running this, and
run blocking.
This guy's going to come right here, and it's like a speed cross. The only reason I don't think it is if you watch the running back, and this is the reason I would look at it, the running back actually runs like he's running a flat route. So, but they make it look just like the run game. So that's big because you got to get these guys to step up.
Oh, cool.
They step up big time, and that whole area is open. So. That's the reason that if you get your run game going and you have to worry about the quarterback running the ball, they handing it, then all of a sudden, boom, you hit them with an RPO, and there's nothing different about the other. That's a play action, but they made it. Everything looks like the run, And those guys stepped up, and all of a sudden this whole area is just wide open and
pitch and catch.
You know. And then the last one I got here, the tight end hasn't shown up yet, but he will. This here is just a simple mid-cross route by the tight end. So the tight end's going to end up running across here. Again, same thing, wide open, but watch what happens. I think this is the biggest thing, is you've got a guy here to make the play.
We put the brakes on,
and doesn't make the play, and there's just a lot more yardage there. And
Yak.
Again, I think if you take anything out of this, this is like, I think people are going to start watching the Eagles and going, well, what are they doing that's so indefensible? And I think number one is the quarterback in the run game opens the run game up. And number two, the quarterback's saying, screw it, I'm taking shots. Now, the problem is, you can kick me off, Stewie. The problem is, I think he's getting to the point now where if his shoulder's hurt, which, his shoulder is hurt, is he going to be able to launch that ball down the field?
Or be as accurate
with it. And that could possibly change them into more of a, normal, quick game, read it out type of offense instead of this just.
Well, and you're not going to be able to run the ball as much with him. Like, you kind of lose the ability to use him in the run game, right? Because you don't want.
If you noticed, the Cowboys, I think, they were the underdog against them. Now they're favored. And Mahomes or Hurts was the favorite for the MVP, and now Mahomes is, and it's just because of this one shoulder thing. So, Caesar Sportsbook out there, they could.
Just a shoulder sprain, huh?
Change things up.
Oh, he could miss 2 games.
So it seems like over the years with football, it's always a chess game. There's innovation, and then what's the response? So and this seems like they maybe just be enjoying a special moment. Everything's clicking, and eventually there'll be a variable that changes that up. But other than that, if they keep running like this, what do defenses do to respond?
You have to just you have to play off. I think if you're going to play off, you're going to play off coverage. You're not going to. You can press these guys all you want if you've got guys to do it, but you have to say you're not going to beat us with these deep balls, and we're going to get like they're trying to do it. There's 2 guys on these guys almost every time, but they're not making the play. So it's more of, listen, guys, if we're going to double Brown, then we better make the play and not get beat deep like that. So. But that was kind of a fun project for me. I don't know how much that was relevant to the Baton Rouge community, but it is offense, and it's the best team in the league right now. So I wanted to kind of switch it up a little bit. But I know we're hitting time right about now.
What do you think about the Bengals-Bucks?
Oh, man, Bengals-Bucks. So number one, the Bucks looked as good as they've looked in the first half of any game that I've seen them play, and I've seen them play quite a few so far. The Bengals looked as pedestrian as they could in the first half. Second half, everybody says, man, the Bengals reeled off 34 straight points starting in the end of the second quarter. Well, true, yes, they did. But the Buccaneers had a meltdown of, almost Colt proportions from –
You should know about that.
And that, shoot, that was bad. That was you talk about the Tom Brady, the best quarterback, best player ever in the history of the league, all of a sudden can't hold on to the ball, like fumbling it. He couldn't get the handoff to Fournette. Everybody's giving Fournette that fumble. That wasn't Fournette. That was out of his hand.
Yeah.
And then, one of those interceptions was freaky because he got hit and Pratt was laying on the ground and it kind of bounced in his arms. But for the Bengals' credit and the Burrows' credit, Chase and all those guys, they took advantage of this situation when it approached them. When it came up, they were given the ball. They had average starting position of the plus 37 going into the second half. And you're talking about, a team that you don't want to give them the ball on the -5 with 95 yards to go, much less give them the ball on the 37 4 times, average of the 37. So I think one of them, they got it on the 20 or something. You don't do that to Burrow.
Yeah.
Burrow's just going to say, all right, cool.
A touchdown.
Touchdown, and done. But anyway,
we talk about some of the hottest teams in the league. Eagles. It feels like the Bengals are
right
finding
now,
their stride a little bit.
The difference, I think the Bengals have got to be careful of what they did in the first half. They got to come out and be aggressive and not hope that the other team gives them what they gave them. But once they got their juice back, after a couple of those turnovers, you could see it was like, I don't care where you give us the ball, we're going to score. And I think that's what Joe Burrow brings to that team. The Joe Burrow effect is real. I think y'all saw it here.
Huh.
Cincinnati's for sure seeing it. I believe if you would have given us Burrow in like 15, we had a team. We went 12-4 in 15, and lost Andy for the last 3 or 4 games of the year and the playoff game, and we did that with Andy Dalton and AJ McCarron. If you would have given us Burrow on that team, I don't know. We've been unstoppable on that team. So, but I think but again, that's the effect that kid has on everything he's around. So
you can't ignore it.
No, you can't. Well, I want to thank Jared for coming in from Citizens Bank and Trust. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Coach.
Is there anything? Where can we find you and Citizens on online right now?
So Citizens, obviously you can find our website. But first of all, I want to give you a gift. I did not come empty-handed. It might mess up your Dapper Dan, but we really appreciate
Hope it fits my head.
Look, dude, you fit Snoop. You and Snoop are matching.
Oh my gosh. There
you go.
Just give me a stoop and whatever he's smoking over there.
CBD.
So one of the things I wanted to say about Citizens, just you'd asked me what's different about Citizens, and there's a different places I could take that to, but I think I'm going to focus sort of internally. My boss, we're a 106-year-old community bank, originally started out of Plaquemine, but obviously we've got 4 branches in Baton Rouge. And my boss, Brooks Lewis, is only the 4th president or CEO of the company. So we've got this legacy and this tradition. But what's different about him, he didn't start out as a banker. He was a football coach and a teacher. And so a lot of times in corporate America, there's what's good about coaching and sports in general is there's something pure. When somebody messes up, you address it immediately. You coach him up immediately. You don't wait till the end of the season to tell the left tackle that he's planting his feet wrong, and that's why he gave up so many sacks all year. You address it immediately. In corporate America, that often doesn't happen, and those are the values that we have at Citizens: telling each other the truth, and giving everybody a chance to be better. And the other thing, when I took the job at Citizens, I was like, man, I want to work for a coach, because coaches don't mind if their players look good. Coaches are happy to have stars, so that it's a big benefit. And he already did my performance review, so it's not. Yeah, I mean, he could add some paragraphs. That's fine.
This will be available online after this, so you
can That's good. So I think that we treat our employees right. We hired some salary consultants because with the craziness in the world and all the inflation that's going on, we want to make sure that we don't just keep people at the same pay just because we can. I've worked for companies where if you wanted to increase your pay, you had to go get another offer. And we didn't do that. We went across the board and raised salaries and because we want to make sure our people can operate and live and make their dreams come true. So I think, there's a saying that culture eats strategy for breakfast, and I really believe in the culture we're building at Citizens.
That's awesome.
Well,
Katie, print some more money.
Yeah, Katie, you got any more?
Thanks, Kyle, for co-hosting today.
You're welcome.
Yes. Mikey Matuk is our co-host for tomorrow, and we'll still have mailbags. So if y'all want to go ahead and leave voicemails or texts for questions for Mikey, it's 225-229-7741. And then he'll answer your mailbag questions tomorrow. What else is he going to do tomorrow? Billy and Buddy?
Billy and Buddy to get a little recruiting preview. Speaking of, we have Shea Dixon coming on right after the break. Shea the Power coming on for the Power Hour, as he is doing some research over there on the laptop. So we're going to go to break, and then we will be back with Shea to do our recruiting Power Hour. So stay tuned.
Thanks again, Kyle and Jared.
And thank you, Coach Caskey.
All right, guys.
I feel like I learned something.
Donaldsonville Glass and Body, the trusted name in frame, body, and automotive paint repair since 1977. They have served their customers for over 45 years. You can find them online at dgbauto.com or stop in and see them Railroad Avenue and Division Street out in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Look, they can help you with your insurance claims. They can make the repair process as stress-free as possible. I'm speaking from experience here. I've got numerous windshields, body repair, all done by Kenny and the crew over at Donaldsonville Glass and Body. They are, without question, the most well-equipped shop in the area. Stop in and see them today. Shop them online, dgbauto.com, or stop in and see the crew over in Division Street in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Donaldsonville Glass and Body. Hey fellas, it's Jordy Culotta for my friends over at Men's Total Health. Guys, do you suffer from fatigue, decreased libido, erectile dysfunction, weight gain or loss of muscle mass, signs of depression, anxiety, hair loss, mental fog, general loss of interest? Then you might be suffering from low testosterone. Go see my friend Mike Roach and his great team over at Men's Total Health over in Metairie at menstotalhealth.net online. And stop in and see how they can change your life today. A simple shot and some knowledge from Mike Roach can get you back up, moving with your energy, get your sex drive back, build your muscle mass, make you feel young again. All online, menstotalhealth.net. Red Stick Sports, a local staple in Baton Rouge to all sports fans, was founded back in 1981 and has remained a family business for over 40 years. Today, they still have the great selection on the floor, but they're also a leader in custom apparel for businesses, sports teams, and other groups. Take it from us, everybody over here at FM Digital Media. They help us out with all of our apparel. Let them help you out today. Go ask for Cody over at Red Stick Sports. Check him out online at redsticksports.biz. I was embarrassed about my smile. Are you unhappy at yours? Do you not smile back at yourself? I called my friend, Dr. Spillers, over at Johnson Spillers. He fixed my smile, and now everywhere I go, people are complimenting it after the work that Dr. Spillers and the staff did to my mouth. They can do it to yours. Get in touch with them. JohnsonSpillers.com. 2 locations, one in Gonzales, one in Baton Rouge. Easy to find them, JohnsonSpillers.com.
In a wreck, Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys is ready to go to work for you. Come meet your team.
I'm your intake specialist. I coordinate your case and connect you with your attorney and paralegal.
That's us, your legal team.
Thanks.
And we'll fight to get you every dollar you deserve.
I'm your settlements and disbursement manager, and I'm here to get you paid on time.
I'm attorney Gordon McKernan. Put our team to work today. Just call us. Get it done.
I remember telling them, hey, listen, my job here is to make sure that we bring, big time football to a small town environment, right? And so you see on movies sometimes about the way a town reacts to the football program and what it means to everybody, and that was the hopes and dreams that I had for the place. And so our kids take a distinct responsibility in wearing that Z on their helmet. It means a lot to them. And then on the flip side of that, our community does a tremendous job of supporting our program, supporting the athletic department, supporting our school as a whole. And there's really a great relationship there that's a lot of fun to be a part of.
Thank you for the access, man. Looking forward to tonight. We'll talk soon.
Coach, wait, before you go, fix your hair again one more time.
Look at him.
Let's go here.
Look at him.
What do you think about that?
Game day,
what do you
baby.
think about that?
Game day. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it, man. Great to see you. Thank you.
You too, guys. I appreciate it. Y'all have a great day.
All right, man. There he is. There he is. My guy. David Brewerton checking in. What does Harold Perkins do for this defense? What does he allow you guys to do?
Yeah, Perk, man, he's just so raw, man. Like, all he know how to do is make a play. But I love him. He brings a certain type of juice to the defense, and he's right alongside of me on the edge. He knows how to rush the edge. As a young guy, that's very valuable to the defense, being able to rush the edge. Making the quarterback step up. But yeah, they put him everywhere. Middle linebacker, outside rusher. Maybe sometimes he's gonna be in a drop. So he's very versatile for our defense.
Question in that game. You're listening to the Jordy Culotta Show live on YouTube. Catch it every day, 7 to 9 a.m., wherever you have internet access.
My guy, the host of Mac and Cube.
You said you wanted me to close it out.
I listen to his pod every day on WJOX 94. I thought I was going to beat Charlie. I didn't. You were fantastic as always. Have a great call in Missouri. I'll see you soon, man.
Thanks, man. Good
Later.
talking to you, Jordy.
Always. There he is. Cole Kubelik, the absolute best. Don't overthink it, ABC. When you move to a primetime slot and the SEC is getting that billing, make this man the color commentator. He's the absolute best.
Ooh, I mean, what a pro.
What a pro. Make
pew, pew, pew. Shea, the power. The power.
Power.
The power.
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 Shea. The power.
Merry Christmas, Shay.
Merry Christmas, Shea.
We've got a new announcement coming next week.
That it will continue to be
the
power.
We've got a new name coming. Don't worry.
I think we ain't done yet.
It's gonna be y'all two just sitting here playing music and saying boo 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 to each other.
Smoking.
Could be the smoke power hour section.
Oh.
Nah, we'll leave it out like it is.
I had to scroll up. The chat was all just people asking or talking, hollering at Katie. Then I guess it ended because then it shifted to, all right, where's Shay? We're dominating the chat over here.
See, Cordell likes this music.
Oh,
somebody said the music was Cordell. Somebody said the music wasn't playing. See,
Mac Daddy Donk said my favorite, the Lloyd Show.
And no, it's the Power Hour, baby.
Except you ain't got no
curtain.
Mac Daddy Donk out here, do you? It's been used.
Oh, he's got it right there. Let me get a little hit of that.
The rat got it.
Oh yeah, Greg might have taken off with some. Do we know about anything about him? Have we got an update?
Kenny Stalter Bean 9198 on Twitter. Shady.
Flick that bean.
My boy.
Off the beans, baby.
Off the beans.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna catch up now so that I'm gonna be very live on this chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got Shay in a bad mood.
No, I'm not in a bad mood. I'm in a great mood.
Sorry, Shay.
Say what you're thankful for this Christmas.
What am I thinking? I think it's a season of giving.
I think it's a season of fucking takeout.
So what you're saying is we should give the name back.
No. I'm handling everything behind the scenes now. Y'all two are cut out.
Oh, we're banned from making PR moves.
Y'all are off my PR squad.
Where's my phone? I'm about to tweet.
Take us off the social media.
All right,
Charles County Matter seems worried. He's asking, are we alive?
We
must have just been not moving for a second.
We just did a couple. Hey, got to pay some bills. As my friend Perry White always says.
All right, now let's
pay them bills.
Get your hashtag Ask Shay in. I'm current on the chat, so I can be rolling through this. See the first 18 minutes of the Power Hour are typically limitless discussions,
Red Bull
discussions. So we've skipped all that.
I know.
We're right into the good stuff.
I feel like I don't have a role now. Damn.
Ask Shay, Crown or Jack. I don't drink either of those.
Wow, you don't drink.
He's a Red Bull vodka guy.
You don't drink whiskey?
No.
If you could have one, eggnog?
No, I don't. Not one of the eggnog.
What's your drink of choice for the holidays? If you and Emily you have a bar card, have been to your house.
Well, a nice glass of wine is always good.
Oh, he's that guy.
See, y'all, that life y'all are living, y'all got to be drinking Crown or Jack because y'all just be going through it. Just
get this out of the way.
I prefer tequila.
I prefer anything that gives me a little power.
Give me a little tequila soda with a lime.
Tequila soda with a lime. What about you, Lloyd?
Anything that is above
Taka
45. No. I love that. My thing with vodka is there's no difference in any of it. It all tastes the same because you're using a mixer.
Dana Kraft is back.
Oh, the bowl.
RBV for life.
See?
Oh, man. Okay. Stephen Miller, Yo Shay, when you going to start calling out dudes that recycle on threes? Content is their own. Man, are we back into this? Is just everyone's
calling each other
out.
It's just a spite hour.
I'm not involved in any of that, man. I got blinders on. I don't really care.
I do feel like we put you in a bad spot.
I mean,
you're the nicest guy I know.
I need to read these questions before I read them out loud.
Yeah,
and he's like in the middle.
He's
of
in the seventh circle of hell. Like I was born in the dark. And she's like, can somebody turn the lights on?
She is Italy.
Yeah,
and we are the U.S.
Yes.
And we're battling the USSR right now.
Exactly. We got to combine powers or forces.
Are you gonna let the USSR take over Italy, or are you gonna let the Americans in?
My man Cordell Music said he's on that Taylor Port. You drink any Taylor Port?
Cool. If you send some, I'll drink.
I was about to say, I've heard that's really dangerous.
Sounds like it.
If it's over 45% alcohol, we got to get to that like 110 proof.
Yeah.
And then maybe I'll feel something.
Oh, damn. So you don't feel nothing
It's
under
kind of
25?
Maybe I'll start being in a giving mood.
So that sounds like you're an alcoholic.
We don't label here.
Okay.
I grew up how I grew up.
Yeah.
You gotta get in where you fit in.
Oh,
I got you.
H, I'm going to guess this is going to be my boy Hunter with $10 in the chat.
Sheath the power.
I think that was probably Hunter. It was Hunter Fournette.
Hunter
But
Fournette.
then it came with the message of get over it. Hunter's got $10.
You want to give him? Give CB $10, and then we're all square.
Yeah, we'll be back.
Oh, man. Okay.
Mac Daddy Donk, thank you for your service.
Cordell Music is actually doing well here. Ask Shea, do you think we'll get to 35 signed? All right, signing day begins Wednesday, ends Friday. So that's when the bulk of guys will be committing. They're at 25 right now. I think that they'll add a couple more high school guys. Probably 27. Let's just call it around 27. Brian Kelly said they'll be between the mid to high 30s when you add portal guys. So now the discussion becomes, do they add, in this case, 8 portal guys? I think for sure. 10? About that, I think.
Well, when you start talking about how...
So Cordell's asking 35 total signed. I think yes.
When you start talking about recruiting and portal and the number that they're out, where do you think they get more from? How many recruits are left on the board as opposed to...
Oh, for sure, portal. Because they have 25 recruits commit. I bet they sound like 27 high school guys or in that range, 26, 27, and then get 10 or more portal guys. So a lot more high school than portal, which is the goal. It was flipped last year.
Right, it had to be.
But then Brian Kelly said that the goal is ultimately to have the roster in a spot where you're only taking like high 20s every year. Not like need 40 dudes to come show up.
Yeah, who else is in the portal? We need help.
Y'all want to play?
Yeah, I need players.
Ask Shea, Brian Burgess, no eggnog. I don't know. I've never liked eggnog.
Me neither. Not a big eggnog
What
guy.
about a white Russian?
What is that?
The dude.
The dude.
I don't like anything with milk in it.
Yeah, I'm out.
But I like milk, but not.
Yeah, I'm out. Milk and liquor don't mix.
Nah.
It's like eating ice cream and liquor. Same thing to me.
Little cognac?
Yeah.
Cognac. Bill Frere asked Shea, or Frere. D-line, who are we getting, high school or portal? This has been all the rage, Stewie and Lloyd on the boards. Everyone's freaking out that LSU doesn't have interior
We don't
linemen.
have any D linemen right now. Well, we do.
Mason
They
Smith.
do.
Smith's going to be back next year.
So you got Mason Smith and Mekhi Wingo as your top interior guys. Then you have
Jacoby
Guillory behind them. This is presuming Jaquelin Roy does go pro.
Is
You
it-
don't know what you've got in Ty G. Hill. Bryce Langston's been on the team a couple years, has never played. So you don't know what you have there. I don't know if they're going to get any high school guys unless they pull off a late flip, which would be great.
Who would be in that conversation?
I don't even know at this
Can't
point.
even give us a ballpark player right now.
Like Amari Washington from Oregon was someone Kane was trying to flip. I just don't see losing Deron Reed hurt. He's really good, and he's going to Auburn. So now I think they're going to take up to 3 portal guys on the interior of the D-line, or on the D-line. Jalen Lee, the old Live Oak guy. You remember him?
We'll take him.
You'll take it?
Yeah, I'll take him.
Played a few years at Florida.
Yeah.
Backup.
Yeah.
But that's what you need.
Yeah.
You need some backups.
Depth.
And he could turn into
Hey, maybe turn into a starter. But they need to rotate those guys. I mean, we saw this year, Mekhi Wingo and Jaquelin Roy played like, I don't even need PFF to tell me, they played like 99% of the snaps. They were the only people on the field. So.
Is Jaquelin Roy 100%?
I don't know about 100,
bound?
but yeah, everything has seemed that he was going pro.
See, I was just in the camp of after Kayshawn announced, it felt like
you thought a wave of them were
I
coming?
thought we were running this thing back.
I don't know. I think Jaquelin goes pro.
And we also have one more football god who was not a fan of the Eagles talk, came back from another show that was on.
We won't speak on it.
We won't speak on it.
Blinders, guys. Don't worry about all these other shows. Except worry about one other set of shows.
One show. But he asked Denver Harris, staying in Denver, Colorado, with Prime.
That's actually Boulder, Colorado.
Yeah.
But I was putting the names together.
Yeah, unless you want to make the 40-minute drive every day to campus.
Oh, he can do it quickly.
Yeah, we know about the driving skills, Coach.
That was good, Lloyd.
That was good. That was good.
That's why we have you here.
I think so.
That's why he's here.
Now save it. Don't say anything else for like 15 minutes.
Quick improv.
Think about what you're going to do next time.
I never have.
Give him the next bit.
Oh, man. I think Denver, Harris, LSU probably leads there.
The only reason I bring it up, obviously, it was asked in the chat, but I just haven't heard any other schools being mentioned along with LSU. It feels like it's LSU where...
Well, look, a lot of the portal kids will get offers and interest and not put it out there. Like Jalen Lee, for instance, visited LSU this past Friday, as Dad said. Nobody
knew about that.
I didn't know about that until his dad told us.
Went
so
to the portal and came home. It's cool.
And you can remember when Greg Brooks and guys like that went into the portal, as far as the rest of the world was concerned, whether that's via social media or interviews, they put that they were going into the portal, and then like later on they just put they were going to LSU. There was never like, I got Mississippi State offered, Ole Miss offered, LSU just offered. It's
kind of the same thing.
I got a business decision.
Aaron Anderson too.
Aaron Anderson, same way.
Went into the portal.
Went in the portal. Next thing you know, he's got a Hayes Fawcett graphic.
Hey, we'll take him.
And that's some Hayes came in.
That thing was sweet. He probably still already.
Y'all do know where Hayes is from, huh?
Is he from here?
Y'all know?
Canada.
What the? He goes to Northwestern
State.
Is he from Natchitoches?
I need a town here.
Like
Alexandria.
Like Port Barry or something.
No, he's from Kinder.
Wow.
Graphics from Kinder. Man made it out the mud.
The literal.
How'd you get a computer?
Dude, no, he was making those on his phone.
Yeah,
no joke.
He's
forever.
been making those things since
until he started working at On 3. I think he got a new computer.
Oh, he works for y'all?
Yeah, he works at On 3.
Bro, you don't like.
I know who Hayes Fawcett
4
is.
years ago, I was seeing Hayes Fawcett graphics
everywhere.
Like if a kid was committed, it was from Hayes Fawcett. Like,
and that's why you have.
He was making them on his phone forever. He was making in high school. He was making them on his phone, and into college, and then he started working at On 3.
Did he drop out?
No, he's finishing his degree right now. I talked to him recently. But they got him, I guess, some, MacBook Pro or whatever. And he told another buddy of mine when they were covering an event. It might have been at the opening or something, some event. And he's from Kinder. I'm not going to do an accent. But he was like, damn, I make these edits so much faster on the computer. He's like, I bet you do.
Dude.
Makes that shit
you
in
made
5
on
minutes.
one screen.
He's just crushing it now. But shout out Hayes. I've known Hayes since high school. He's a great kid. Hey, nobody gets more scoop than Hayes.
I know that.
And you know how you get good scoop? You don't tell anybody anything.
I don't know shit, actually.
Mm-hmm. I'm just working on this graphic.
But also, he's going to A&M or LSU. Maybe. Might be Bama.
Maybe Florida.
When you hear me say I'm probably reading questions that are going to stir up controversy that I'm skipping. Oh, Chris Turner. I'm in Atlanta this week watching the show. Feel right at home in Houston. Keep up the recruiting update, Shea. Big shout out, Chris Turner, in the ATL. Oh, Carl got his Founders Day cap. Carl Joseph.
Oh, not the cat?
Not the cap.
I told Carl to get a hat and wear it while he officials. I think that would be great branding for the Bengal Tiger. $1.
What's up, Larry Francis? Okay, Joey Jett asked Shea, is Jalen Brown solid? Hadn't heard much about him recently. So we have talked to folks in his camp a good amount all the way through, and it was always he's going to take other visits. He kind of really didn't. He's stuck with LSU all the way to now. I think what you have to watch here is Miami is landing kids.
The money's coming in.
Money's flowing. Well, they're spending, and don't say it like it's a bad thing. NIL is a part of this now. Miami's doing what they got to do. Miami's playing no bowl game. They're straight recruiting.
This is no bowl game.
They are popping dudes left and right.
We don't have a bowl game, so you want to play?
Jalen Brown is South Florida kid, obviously, from the area. So I'm monitoring it. You can't not.
Flip watch?
You have to put it on. I've heard nothing that tells me, yo, man, that's who Miami's about to flip. But they wouldn't not be trying to flip him, right? He's in their backyard.
Yeah.
You're trying to make splashes left and right.
Graduate champions is what we were trying to do.
Yep.
So,
and Cristobal is on That feels like he's already on kind of thin ice.
Well,
after his first year.
Well, he's a Miami guy, though. He's not up there.
Yeah, it's culture. Worked here. He's a fit.
So I would watch Jaylen Brown. They're good at receiver. They just added Aaron Anderson. You don't want to lose him. You want him and Kyle Parker, your out-of-state guys, to get across the finish line tomorrow. If I hear anything different, I'll let y'all know. But as of right now, we'll catch up with his pops later and see what he's saying. But seems like LSU's still okay. You've made it to 24 hours until signing day, and you hadn't flipped yet. Though Raheem Jarrett and Jermaine Burton did break these two men's heart one day.
Raheem.
When they pulled receiver signing day flips.
That's when it was illegal, too.
It hurt.
It's all right.
Fucking Maryland.
James Witt Fortenberry asked Shea, Mizzou or Wake this Friday? Is that a bowl game?
No, we play Wake. No, we don't. It's probably Mizzou.
Yeah, that's a bowl game, the Gasparilla Bowl.
I'd go Mizzou.
Nah, I'm rocking Wake.
I'm rocking
What's the
Mizzou
spread?
all day.
Let's go.
Come to the zoo.
Yeah, come to the zoo, baby.
Are they playing right now?
Nah, dog. Friday.
Get me there.
Where's that at?
Gasparilla Bowl is in Florida for sure.
Give me Wake. I don't know the line. Someone else get the line.
I got the lines.
Oh, Dana's back and still not a catfish. Womp womp.
Mm-hmm. Prove it.
That's what a catfish would say.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Can we ask Shea, Adrian Bailey, any word on DH, which I presume to be Denver Harris?
I think he's talking about baseball.
Oh, no, he's not. I mean, Denver's first visit was LSU. He met with Brian Kelly. There is immediate playing time to be had. He was very interested in LSU coming out of high school. You're trying to convince me the only thing that could throw a wrench in that is Coach Prime.
Yep.
Stewie, you agree?
Yeah.
I mean, Coach Prime comes in with the Louis bag, and
Yeah.
he said he had new people on the way, and it's Louis.
Yeah, and no, because it's like
he's getting Travis Hunter.
Right. You think?
He is.
I don't know. I heard Georgia.
Yeah, I heard Georgia.
No way he would
Georgia
leave
is
Prime.
Sneaking in that fight. But
We'll see.
He's diving in the Louis bag.
See, I would say
He better have more in the Louis bag.
I would say like Colorado is kind of like a little bit behind LSU because like he's coming from an SEC school. Why would he want to go to a Colorado team who just came off a 1-win season?
And he's already I agree. And he's already a sophomore.
Right.
It's like in his mind, he may only have a couple years left.
And he's probably like more acclimated with the players on LSU's roster, being that they all got recruited.
I would be
together.
shocked. The only reason that I would think that Denver Harris doesn't come to LSU is because LSU said it's
a no-go.
It's a no-go. So that would be the only way that happens in my mind. And if you're LSU, it's whoever's saying no-go, you got to go.
Me and Uncle Snoop, we believe Denver Harris is coming to LSU. Uncle Snoop just told me.
What, y'all in the locker room together?
I have not heard any time frame or anything about it. But I'd have to think LSU's in as good of a spot as they can be in. You cannot have more available cornerback playing time than they currently offer. So that's about as good as a pitch to a kid who almost was going to go here in the first place. I don't know. We'll see. Quick side note before I keep rolling through the chat. Speaking of Coach Prime and the Louis bag that you remember, Stu, what was his line? I got more kids coming and they're Louis.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you saw your boy Toviano pulled out the Louis bag.
I did see that.
Yeah. And then people freaked out because he opened the bag and the lining was red and they thought it meant Georgia. That just means you got to be hip to what the Louis lining is.
Yeah,
Exactly.
you got to know what the Louis looks like on the inside.
If you don't know what the bag is, you don't know. You ain't never
Right.
been to Italy?
Yeah, they've never been to Italy.
I loved how he's sort of also too
was that an Oregon hat?
Yeah, like at no point in his process did he ever play games. And then he went for like the fun moment, but he wasn't confident enough to really didn't want to drag it out.
He was like,
he just didn't even show what it was. It was just a green hat. And he was like, I'm just kidding.
Never mind. I wish he would have went with the black on black LSU hat.
That was a clean one.
I know he should have brought it back.
Smooth of him to do that at their game, at A&M's game.
But speaking of Toviano, what
big ad? I love it.
Continue.
Great kid, great player. Really good football player. Like, I could see him ending up at safety. He could test his hand at corner. But just a really good defensive back. He's not going to run a 4-4 or whatever, but he can play ball. and that's what you need. And I think he'll be someone who galvanizes that defensive backs room. You heard him. He's putting on a show up there.
He was. He was holding court, and he was also touching that LSU hat every chance he had. He was just kind of lurking over
That's
there.
my baby.
I know what I'm picking.
Trying to graduate champions.
But you think he, obviously with the bowl game, Taviano can't play, but I'm just saying they're moving Jay Ward to corner,
He might be able to play.
Jay Ward has a lot of versatility.
Oh, I agree,
I think
but I'm
Taviano
just
is
saying,
like that.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Is that like a good comp for him?
Yeah, I think that's a good comp. Different body types, different players, but Taviano's probably a bit more physical as a safety.
I know he can partake in bowl practice for sure.
Yeah, those guys, those early enrollees will get here and start practicing in bowl practice.
They can't play though.
No, getting him mid-year and turn around, putting him on a college field is probably not the best idea.
The dude
even
from
if you could
Tennessee
do it.
Can. I saw something that the kid from Tennessee is eligible to play in their bowl game and practice.
Well, Kelly said something about mid-years. He made a comment. He was like, I'm glad that redshirt guys can play in this game and not lose the red shirt. He was like, because that's good. It's good for player safety. And it's impossible to think mid-years could be ready to turn around and play in a game on January 2nd.
That would be insane.
Yeah, you wouldn't do that.
Well,
You
there's
just got
one
out of high school.
Oh, well, I was going to say there's one guy you could add that's suspended at another school, but he ain't suspended for LSU. Denver Harris.
Boy, if you're that hard up for corners against Purdue.
I mean, Coach, we need to look over something.
Hey, they added Drew Brees, Coach. I'm he's going to dial something up.
PC.
Put his son's in the game.
PCGINBIGD. I don't know what that would be. Shea, do you think Brad Davis is done for this class? I do.
He could have done better.
Why? I think those are 4 linemen.
No, I said he could not have done.
Oh, could not have done.
Yeah,
better.
I mean, he
no
cleaned
doubt.
up.
You got the 2 best players in the state on the O line, and then you went into Georgia and got 2 really good players, and it looks like you fended off Auburn, Florida State for DJ Chester. So yes, if all holds, I would think he's done. That's a nice foursome.
Gonna be kicking that foot back for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
LSU, baby.
Stephen Miller asked Shea, easier question. How many more years do we have to deal with dual signing days? I don't know if that is easier. I don't know the answer.
Oh, he just asked you like you were like the NCAA
I know.
president or something.
I'm going to get with my boy who's coming in, the new president.
The governor.
See what he's saying.
Governor.
I wouldn't be surprised at some point if they moved a signing period, like basketball and everyone else has it in late November or whatever, and it's just like, if you want to do it, get it out of the way. And then you have one in February. And then there's not this mad dash in bowl season and guys leaving and all that to have to do. Portal.
That's still killing you, clearly.
3 weeks of it.
He's dead. He's about
I
to
mean,
die.
Charlie Oliver, broken record every forum. Damn D-line. Jeez. People act like the staff isn't going to get any D-line. Say it again for the people in the back, Charlie. It'll be fine.
Mean, y'all act like we ain't got no D-line, man.
Excuse me. If fans are noticing an issue with depth or personnel, I'm quite confident that the coaches and Brian Kelly are aware of that and see it and know how to address it. So,
but you also can expect to find.
All we can do is sit back and watch.
You can't expect to find another Mekhi Wingo, right? Like that seems like that's as good of an ad as you can get in the portal.
You don't know who else is going to hit the portal, so maybe. No one. Even when Mekhi Wingo came here and everyone was like, he was an all-SEC freshman, no one was like, oh, yeah, that dude's going to be...
Plug and play for Mason Smith.
Yeah.
That's going to be your best.
As Shea, is Mason coming back? I assume he means Mason Smith? Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Has to, sophomore.
Watch the body sit to Florida.
He's going to Colorado.
Stevie G, Shea, percentage landing Ricks, percentage landing Harris. Harris is tough because he's a portal guy. I just think LSU's... I would consider them to be the team that other teams have to beat out. Percentage landing Ricks above 50%. I just feel like they've known what they have to do to get him, and they put themselves in that spot. But they got his last visit. They got multiple visits during the year. They have immediate playing time.
Doesn't it? And that's what I wanted to ask you. If they do add somebody like a Denver Harris, is that, and obviously see the Taviano commitment, and they wanted to play corner his first year, does any of that affect Desmond Ricks and his?
I mean,
you've seen the percentage drop from 90 to 50.
No, I can't speak for Desmond Ricks, but they only have 2 cornerbacks on the roster. One of them, Sevyn Banks, hasn't played in 2 years. LaTerrence Welsh has never played corner in a
Coming
game.
off 2 ACLs as well.
So, and he made it through this year healthy. He played a bunch of games, played special teams. You have to have more than one corner. Like,
Yeah, you can't just have two corners and be like, oh, we'll play a whole season with two.
those guys, I think, all see playing time as a very advantageous thing that LSU can offer.
I will say.
So I'm above 50% on Ricks. Oh, God. What are you saying?
Just feel like I've been down this road before, where somebody that felt like was LSU the entire time, Patrick Surtain.
Well, why do you feel like he's been LSU the whole? That's your fault.
That's y'all's fault. I've read it on 3.
I didn't tell you that they've been
89%
in the lead the whole time. I said going into the final 3 visits, I thought LSU was in a good spot.
But I'm just saying I've been down this road before.
Well, then that's your fault.
We're cool. We'll be all right.
Yeah, you were down this road a year ago with Aaron Anderson, and look where he is now.
Well, I don't want to wait a year.
Okay, you need it.
I want to do it now.
Right now.
Tomorrow. I want it tomorrow.
All right.
Is he committing tomorrow?
Who?
Desmond.
Thursday. Get your own spotlight.
He's going to let the hoopla.
Yeah, let that go.
Let the dust settle.
Let all the kids who are committed go.
Then the big dogs.
Then you take center stage.
Where's he commit at? Does he commit like live on his Instagram or something?
I don't know. I think he has a ceremony. I'll check.
Probably on ESPN or something.
Yeah, I would bet.
We'll take that.
Stephen Miller, what's more?
I don't want to do it.
What's more important, doing well?
I can't play videos.
Yeah. Doing well in early signing day or doing well in the spring portal? Ooh, I think early signing day. Because if you're going to sign 25 guys, that's the bulk of your class. And you want to – it's more important to sign and develop high school guys than continue to plug and play portal guys, in my opinion. So I would say signing day is more important. Cordell Music asks, Shea, do you think Swinson from Oregon really loves LSU? You know, a lot of kids say they love LSU, then they go somewhere. You're talking like Lloyd over here.
Dream school.
I think Swinson, who's an edge rusher, coming from Oregon, was just at LSU this past weekend. He's from Georgia. He's got some buddies on the team. I will be surprised if he doesn't go to LSU. So there's an edge guy. And you're Deshaun Womack is going to be playing edge. You could put a guy like that there. You got Desmond Little on roster.
Desmond Little transferred.
I mean Xavier Carter.
Yeah.
The power.
Very similar type of player. That didn't even make sense. Oh,
it did. It made a lot of sense.
Love you, Shea.
You're down here. Get on my level.
Get on my level.
So we're going off the rail here.
So the Swinson kid is like
date, marry, kill.
Oh. Right.
Flo from Progressive, Lily from AT&T,
Jugs,
or Stifler's moms from the Old Navy commercials.
Okay, Stifler's mom. I don't even know who that is.
What?
From the Old Navy commercial? Oh, Stifler's mom. Yeah. Okay. Stifler's mom.
She's in White Lotus.
Yeah, I know exactly.
I would marry her because
she's got all that money.
I think she's got a lot of connects in the biz.
Yeah, and I would like to cuck Stifler. I'd like to be his dad.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm marrying her.
I'm killing Flo.
Wait. Oh yeah, Flo is gone. I guess I'm out. I'm out on.
I might do that anyway.
All right.
From Progressive, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm out.
So, but now we got to date Lily.
Lily,
okay.
well, yeah,
that's kind of hot.
All right, then
and
we're
she's
there.
got connection with LeBron.
Yeah, and she has the phone connection, multiple phones.
The girl with the big old jugs on the
AT&T
commercial.
Yeah, she's hot.
New
I
phone.
think she is. Yeah, new
Who
phone.
did?
And then if we just do kick it, I'm kicking it with the Allstate guy. He gets to hang out with all the basketball players.
Oh, Chris Paul?
Yeah, not
Cliff
Chris,
Paul.
but the other guy.
Oh, yeah, the fake Drake?
Yeah.
Jake from
Yes.
State Farm.
The Jake from State. Is it
No,
State Farm
he's-
or Allstate?
That's State Farm. But they were talking about Flo from.
I know.
Progressive.
I'm added one. I'm kicking it with the guy.
Oh, yeah, he just
that
wants a friend.
Gets to hang
yeah,
out with all
that's
the
guy
basketball.
from State Farm. Jake
That's yeah.
from State Farm.
That's who I'm rocking with.
What are you wearing, Jake from State Farm?
Khakis?
She sounds hideous.
Yes. Well, it's a guy, so.
One Nardi asked Shea, I signed up. How do I get my hat? I'll tweet that today for you. So if you follow me on Twitter at Shea Dixon, or if you signed up, go to the board, and then there'll be a thread about it.
The hat's
I'll
gonna
bump
be there
that too.
tomorrow.
Then the hat shows up instantly.
Instantly.
Okay, John Bro asked Shea, does Dalen Austin wait to sign? This is a great question. Now so Dalen Austin has been committed to LSU, but he's a California kid. He's a corner. He's a really good one. You want to hold on to him. He's visited a bunch of other schools, so you already had him on Flip Watch, and it's just hard to hold on to California kids if you're trying to get them all the way to LSU. Now there is people on the Oregon side saying he might sign Wednesday and not wait till February, but then it would be with Oregon. So
how do you do this?
Let's keep an eye on this. Well, I don't really care where Dalen, or where any of these kids go. It's their life. They're having fun with it.
Sure.
The portal makes all this a lot easier.
Shea said he's just here to write about it, not here to.
Have you lost your love for LSU?
If the portal didn't exist and you couldn't go get a Denver Harris and you couldn't go get that, you would freak out a whole lot more about what
then I think Dalen Austin would probably come to
Desmond
LSU
Ricks or whatever.
And that's what I think is probably more of the interesting thing with the portal is you're starting to see kids that are maybe on LSU's.
I don't know if we have data on that yet, right? Like, you think kids are being scared off by potential portal
I think they're
additions?
being told.
Okay.
Like, wouldn't it be, if you're doing your due diligence as a coach, be like, look, I want to give you the opportunity to get to the portal because I feel pretty strongly we're going to add Denver Harris if that is something that affects you.
I don't think they have any of those combos.
Really?
I think you're in or you're out. Here's what you need to do to develop. Don't worry about anybody else. So this is what we've been trying to talk about.
This is all true.
Brian Waiter.
Killer be killed.
As Shea, I missed Nicholas Harbor commitment. I see him 100% to USC East. I don't think he committed.
No, he did not until February.
That's probably just the thing, yeah. But I don't know there. I got to see him. I know I've been putting him in prediction pieces and having fun with it. I got to see him get to campus.
Who, Harbor?
He's never visited.
This is true.
So we're playing once he gets to campus, then we're really like, all right, is LSU in the mix here? No one's ever committed somewhere that they've never even visited. So
these are all truthful.
We're pausing until February there, though.
But still feel in the mix?
I mean, in the mix, yeah, sure, but I think there's like a bunch of teams like South Carolina, Maryland, Michigan. They've all gotten him to campus a ton. Some are close to home, all that. So
it feels like LSU was one of the first to kind of be on
Well,
Harbor.
Jamar Cain did a really good job of recruiting him, got him in there, but look, we can see what happens in February. But we want to wait to see him actually visit before we say, like, oh, I feel great about it. Jerry Rivera asked Shea, is Isaac Smith the safety from Mississippi in this class? Great question, Jerry. Okay, so that's the one we're watching Wednesday, beyond Kamori and Pimpton, the tight end at Vandy, to see if he maybe flips to LSU or Texas, and that would just be lanyap if you could pull something like that off. They really want Isaac Smith. Great kid, a lot like a Toviano, like hell of a football player, would be great for the locker room, great in the DB room, leader on the team. Like, they really, really want him. Here's the issue. The competition is Mississippi State.
They're not even listed on the RPM machine.
Don't worry about that. Worry about what I'm telling you.
I'm listening.
He's from Itawamba. So Starkville's obviously closer to home for him than LSU would be. He's a Mississippi kid. The top 5 players in the state of Mississippi, the top 3 are going to Ole Miss. Number 4 is going to Oregon. Number 5 is Isaac Smith. You'd have to think State says, we got to get one of the top guys in the state. So that Isaac Smith is the top uncommitted guy. They're all after him. Obviously, with the passing of Mike Leach, there was some uncertainty there of what their staff would look like. Well, I think promoting Zach Arnett and keeping the defensive staff there helps you out a lot with Isaac Smith, considered that's who's been recruiting him the whole time. So he doesn't lose any familiarity or relationships there.
And you go from an offensive guy to a defensive guy who's going to make him more of a priority, right?
Yeah, or just that they just continue to make him a priority. I've talked to some folks up in Starkville who've said, hey, look, we could see this going either way, but State feels like at the end of the day they can keep him home. LSU feels like, hey, at the end of the day there's a chance for us to actually steal him out of there. So I think that his final decision will come tonight, and then he'll announce tomorrow. So,
and as you've
there's a chance.
But as you've always said,
it's close, though.
Impossible to pull. Not impossible.
Not impossible. LSU signed a bunch of kids from Mississippi. It's tough to do it. The last kid I can remember LSU getting on signing day was Ray Darius Jones, who just transferred home to State. Yeah. So, yeah. I don't know. We're watching that one. Great kid. Really good football player out of Itawamba. They'd love to have him.
He's got 6 unofficial visits to Ole Miss, 2 with LSU, 2.
He's probably made more than that.
Well, I'm just looking at your website.
Well, that also takes in people like me going in and logging all those visits, and
it's not your fault.
And it's not mine. Caleb Jackson, Cordell Music said, is signing on the 21st. Yep. I'd expect almost all of the current commits to sign. Mac Daddy Donk didn't know about the hat.
He collects hats.
Mac Daddy, get on it. Bengal Tiger hats. They're free with $1 membership for the year. Hunter Fournette. Shout out Hunter for the $10.
Shout out Hunter for the $10.
Cali kids are wishy-washy as hell. And I just think it's so far from home. And I know other teams have signed many Cali kids. I don't know why LSU can't or hasn't, but it's just been sort of a road bump for them. I don't know why. Beyond that, they've got other options. Like West Coast options.
Yeah, you just saw the Stewie, who's the quarterback that just flipped to UCLA?
Oh, Dante Moore. He's from like DC.
He's from Michigan.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's not from that area, but I guess he's been flirting with UCLA.
Well, who was he committed to originally?
Oregon.
Oh, I guess just felt like a West Coast kid.
So maybe Oregon needs to go out and make a couple signing day splashes now.
Bo Nix is coming back next year.
Bo Nix is coming back.
Play 18 years of college football.
Bo Nix, baby.
Shout out Brian for the kind comments. John Bro asked Shea, does Jalen Lee come home from Florida? I think so, yes. Jalen Lee is a Live Oak kid. He was once committed to LSU. They had a sort of a parting of ways. He played a few years at Florida. I think he could be a nice... You need to add multiple pieces to that interior defensive line. I think as a nose tackle, he'd be someone you would want to add.
And when you consider somebody like a Jalen Lee, guys that have LSU or Louisiana ties, I should say, how many more are out there left in the portal?
That are LSU caliber?
Mm-hmm.
Denver Harris, Jalen Lee,
Aaron Anderson, God.
Aaron Anderson. I mean, just depends. They're guys like Gavin Holmes will get monitored or looked at. I'm sure they're looking at all of them, but there'll be more enter. Just that's how the numbers will work. More guys will go in. Football God asks Shea, will a coach recruit an older brother in hopes of getting the younger brother one day?
Yes.
Is that a Dylan Moses question?
It's a Weeks question.
Oh. I don't know. I like both the Weeks. Whit Weeks put up like 100 and something tackles this year at Coney County. He had a big year.
Whit.
And they needed linebacker depth, and West gave him that. West played in a lot of games as a backup linebacker.
A lot of losses.
No, he's in a bunch of SC games.
Hey, man.
But he could be talking about Keelan Moses, obviously. Yeah. What grade is his the youngest in? 8th?
12th.
No.
No, this
it could
monster.
be.
He might be in like 6th grade.
You watched his
6th or 7th grade. He's not old. Like, he's young.
I wonder if Football God is from Itawamba. He said if you're from Itawamba, the first thing you want to do is get far away from Itawamba. Okay. Cordell Music asked Shea, have you ever had to block someone from the message board? If anyone out there has been blocked, it wasn't me.
Hunter Fournette got blocked.
In my old days, Sonny was the... and now Billy cracks the whip.
Can you get Hunter Fournette back on there? I mean, he doesn't...
Is he banned?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
We got to talk to Billy, who will be coming on tomorrow.
Oh, I'll tell you. Don't worry, Hunter. I'll talk to Billy. You'll be back today.
Well, also, what did you do?
I don't know what he did. Dylan Wright asked Shea, Jay Ward, is that a good comp for Michael Dougherty? Same body type and style of play. Yes. I think Dougherty's a pure nickel. So Jay Ward has played a bunch of nickel. Gosh, what would a really good... Yeah, I mean, I just think the comp is that he's a nickel. He's very much of a hybrid. Can play in the box, corner, safety type, but is best at nickel. Can be physical. Greg Brooks did some of that.
You think he comes back?
Greg Brooks, I do, which I think would be huge. Let's see.
What about
My bad, Hunter. I didn't see that I had skipped that question. I'll talk to Billy.
What about is it Fouché or Fuchsia? Fuchsia?
Joe Fuchsia? I think he's out of eligibility.
He doesn't have a COVID year?
I think he already used it.
They actually said it was a Bo Bordelon question. Bo Bordelon has a younger brother. I don't think you would have to. The Bordelons are like royalty around LSU. And, Bo Bordelon looks good when you see him in person. If he can put it together on the field, that's a big kid. Not any bad weight. And then he's got a little brother at Newman. He's a very good offensive lineman as well, who I think they'll get.
What about is Arch Manning's brother even a consideration for like playing at
I
the
didn't
next
realize
level?
he had one until recently.
I think he plays center.
Yeah. I don't know. No, I'm not going down the Manning route.
Rabbit hole.
John Bro asked Shea, was Edgerrin Cooper ever in the portal? So, no, he never officially went in. What was it, Stewie? He was like on Instagram being like, portal, question mark? And
Wait, who is this?
Edge Cooper.
Oh, yeah, he like flirted with the portal.
Yeah, he flirted with
He flirted with the portal.
He flirted with the portal and then posted
And
like
then
a
A&M
video.
reeled him back.
And like, he posted a video like not leaving the place I started something at.
He did a hype video announcing he was not entering the portal. I'm not kidding.
I know. That's where we are now.
This is where we at?
Put your condom on. You flirt with the portal.
Cordell Music said Whit Weeks is another Tackett.
Tackett.
State champ.
Tack Curtis,
MVP
baby.
of the state championship
MVP.
game.
Because of his offense.
Hunter DM'd a guy and basically told him to STFU. Which he thought was fine because it wasn't on the board.
Yeah, I feel like that's fair.
All right.
So whoever you did that to, Hunter, obviously
I'll talk to
ratted
Billy.
on you.
I'll talk to Billy. Oh, damn. Daryl Dunn said keep him banned.
It might have been Daryl Dunn. We might have beef in the chat.
It's Inspector Daryl Dunn.
Oh, my God. He goes, yes.
Ask Shea, any recruits from South Louisiana for LSU? They have a bunch of committed guys from Southwest Louisiana, I guess he's asking. What would that be considered? Like Lake Charles and over?
Mm-hmm.
I guess not. They don't have any Lake Charles kids this cycle. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't think about that before now, Shane. I guess they do not have any recruits from Southwest Louisiana.
Is there anybody that they should...
Stewie, am I missing anyone? What is considered Southwest Louisiana?
The Lake Charles area.
And over?
And over. Yeah.
Like to Orange and the border? I don't think they have any.
No, none. I don't think they have any from.
But they don't have any
Acadiana
players
either.
Yeah, Shane, I don't think they do. I hadn't thought about that. And none from the Acadiana, which is typically odd. Or typically you would have somebody in each class from the Acadiana area.
A lot of BR love around here, though.
That's right. John Bro asked Shea if Jalen Catalon enters a portal. Do we have a shot? Well, I saw his Arkansas. He announced he was going into the portal. I don't know if he's there or not, but I'll monitor that. I will monitor that.
Isn't that like Arkansas's best defensive player, pretty much?
He was one of them. Dwight McGlothern's pretty good.
Wasn't he hurt this year, though?
He was hurt. And then someone said he was suspended, maybe. I don't know.
Give me those kids.
I can't remember. I'm not maybe making that up. Jalen might be a fine young man. I have no idea.
We'll see. We'll check into it.
Man, Hunter and Daryl are old friends, actually. They're just catching up.
Oh, Matt Reynolds with a power chat. Shea, have you talked with our mutual friend, Pulitzer Prize winner, James Varney lately?
Oh, man. $10, Matt. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
I have not talked to Varney lately. Man, that's a throwback. So Matt Reynolds and I used to run around in my early days.
Brothers 3.
Well, he was at Tiger Rag at the time. I was at Scout back in the day. And, God, we had some good times with Jim Varney, Pulitzer winner.
Good times.
Out of the Picayune, the old Picayune. And Jim would take us under his wing and take a couple young bucks out.
Shade the rope.
Just having a good old time. Matt's been living up in North Louisiana in God's country for a while. Hope you're well, Matt. I miss you, brother. We'll catch up soon.
Jim Varney's dead.
I don't think that's the Jim Varney that we're talking about. Unless we were hanging out with a ghost from 04 to 12 or 13, 14. Jerry Rivera asked Shea top linebacker and D-line for 24. Man, we're getting ahead of ourselves.
What about Huge Erection? Who asked?
Well, Stewie, who's our boy from Duncanville?
Colin Simmons.
Colin Simmons. That's that dude for 24 on the D-line.
Heavy LSU lean.
Get all over that one.
Loves LSU.
And Duncanville kids never go.
No.
Where's my girl?
They got 3.
She had all the Duncanville scoop.
Jamil.
Jamil did say
in Dallas right now.
On the ground.
Yeah.
Get the
Boots
info.
on the ground.
Yes.
We're going to talk to Jamil and then get back to you.
FaceTimer.
Oh, anything, Larry Francis
gonna
said
answer.
anything west of Lafayette's southwest. So, still none. I'd have to think about linebacker. But
did you see
D-line for sure, we have that one.
Did you see Huge G Erection? I think Huge Erection, obviously. Is Derek Williams still a heavy lean for Texas?
I'd have to think so.
Because you said LSU would still never gave up.
Unless he doesn't sign this week and then it's like making visits in January or whatever. But
that would be a massive deal.
Look, they're trying.
That's all you can ask.
That's all you can ask. I can promise you behind the scenes they're trying to flip him.
Is it a NIL thing?
Some people have said that. I've never talked to Derek about that or any people, so I'd hate to say that and that not be the reason. But people have said it. Graduation, Stewie.
It's me after graduation.
No.
All right, so we've decided Southwest Louisiana is Lafayette to Texas, but they didn't even have any Acadiana guys this year. So, Cordell Music asked Shea, my family's from Bastrop, anybody to look for in the 24 class up north? Yeah, gosh, it's tough for me to shift my mind ahead.
Any predictions for tomorrow? If you had to pop.
Well, tomorrow would just be Isaac Smith, and then if they can flip Pimpton.
That's who I was interested in. Any news?
I think at this point you just consider that lanyap. If you get him, great. If he sticks with Vandy, you respect it. If he flips at the last second to Texas, despite them offering like yesterday, then you were never going to get him out of Texas if they were coming after him. So
maybe a portal get.
Oh, dude, I'll tell you what though. Southwest Louisiana will be popping next year.
Yes.
And Juwan Johnson is that dude. He'll play corner in college, but boy.
500, 600 total
at quarterback,
yards
he was just rolling on them.
It was like, he was like Max Duggan in the TCU game.
He died?
Just dying, willing his team to win. Almost brought him back, too. I want to say he had like a play at the end where they could have won, but they didn't.
Oh, you know what? They already have a commitment. Xavier Adkins, right? He's from Jonesboro Hodge. That'd be considered North Louisiana.
Beat the brakes off of them in high school.
Jonesboro.
Damn, Juwan's getting after it.
Coach, he is a player.
Yeah, he put up 500 yards. They lost, but it was a hell of a game. Yeah, so that'd be one to watch. Go check him out. But yeah, there'll be some Monroe Shreveport guys that pop up.
See who we got offers out to around here.
Oh, they're thinking we're talking about Ernest Jim Varney. Yeah.
He's dead.
Yeah, he's dead. That's not the Jim Varney we're talking about.
Moment of silence for Ernest.
There we go. As Shea, it's early for 24. Do you think they pull Tylen Singleton out of Manny? They'll have a good shot. They have to get things back on track. They haven't had a Manny kid tell us you in a while. Nick Jacobs, was he a Manny kid?
Yeah, I played against him in high school. He concussed me.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh.
And he kicked. He was their kicker, field goal kicker, kick returner, punt returner, tight end, defensive end.
All right, let's rock here the final few before we get out of here. Charlie Oliver asked Shea any flip commits at all. They're working on Kamorian Pimpton, who's committed to Vandy. Some other kids who are committed at different D-line spots. You take swings at the end. Derek Williams, they'll always try to be working. So there's some names in there. Does Trades Green make it to LSU in 2024? Yes, the Feliciana tight end. I do think so. He also plays basketball. Shea, is LSU recruited DFW area like South Texas? No, not traditionally, but I think they begin to. I think the alumni base, LSU base in Texas or in DFW is starting to grow. Not to where Houston is necessarily, but I think that LSU will start to have a footprint more in the DFW area. I do.
Do you think that there's any sort of pipeline after the Jack Besh to TCU? Or are they going to start trying to dabble?
TCU always does a great job.
I know.
Always had
Half
Louisiana
TCU's
pipeline.
team's badass Louisiana dudes. So yeah, they'll just keep that rocking. TCU does a great job in Louisiana. Brian Burgess asks Shea any promising prospects from Bogalusa or Franklinton. Man, that's
Franklin.
Quite specific. I'd have to look.
Got a few cats in Franklin, Coach.
I'd have to look for the coming years to see where they're at there. Franklin has like that Jay Sean Johnson kid.
He was a Mississippi State lean. That's the intel I got on him.
Yeah, I think he's got an offer. He's a DB.
That's where he was leaning.
He's for
at
next
first,
year.
before Mike Leach passed, but now it's kind of.
Let's see. Is LSU looking at any players from South Carolina? God, South Carolina's got a bunch of dudes in the portal, I guess. I'll check there. I haven't heard anything big.
Not shocked. South Carolina's making moves.
What's up with the Northwood Shreveport guys? Neither committed anywhere. It's not really a hotbed. Yeah, I don't know. Tadarius Collins and then Marjavius Moss, who are both good players. I don't know what they're up to this signing day, or if they wait. Like I saw Harvey Broussard said, even though he committed to Memphis, he's waiting until February now. So some of these kids can wait till February, and they could pick up some bigger offers. Just a heads up.
Are you nervous about tomorrow?
No.
Just your work day?
As Shea, is it inevitable the cornerback commit from Cal is going to go elsewhere? He's never mentioned with the current class. I think people just know that if it happens, you're not surprised because he's taken other visits and he's not even from close to here. But, boy, you'd love to keep him, and they are trying hard. Hunter Fournette wants a GoPro on my head. It would probably just be me, like,
doing regular shit.
Yeah. Last one, Jared
My
Rivera.
dog.
Ask Shea any surprises tomorrow. I would consider Pimpton if they got him to be a surprise. Now, Jalen Lee's supposed to make an announcement tomorrow. If any other portal guys make an announcement, I guess that could be said as a surprise just because of the timing, maybe not the result.
What was your biggest signing day?
They're in it for Isaac Smith, so I don't think that's would be a surprise. But shout out everybody in the chat. I got the last one in. We're rocking. What are you saying?
What was your biggest signing day flip for you for LSU and against LSU that you've seen? Patrick Surtain comes to mind.
Gunnar Keel flipping away from LSU when Les said he had no chests was a big one.
Was that at the Bash?
Uh-huh.
Why did he say that? That's just...
Like Gunnar Keel, and then he played for about 5 different schools. He went to Notre Dame, then Cincinnati, then got benched. And
I mean, Raheem Jarrett and Jermaine Burton it felt like a double punch at the moment. So that one, for fans, I think stung. Biggest flip to LSU?
Adams.
He didn't flip.
But
not many kids flip on signing.
What was he, a Texas lean at first?
And that was with the whole Hootie Jones debacle.
Hootie.
I don't know who the flip to LSU would be.
I mean, I think we came out on the brighter side of that one.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no doubt. But I'll say this on my way out here. We discussed this a lot.
Leaving.
We're at an hour. I got stuff to do today.
He was about to say,
I'm backed up, guys. I am leaving.
I did try to get Shea to come in tomorrow and do the war room, but he's too busy. He's too nervous.
I mean, no, I'm busy as hell. We discussed the most disappointing signing days, and we're ranking RIP Joe McKnight at number 1. The Bash it was over. And they had signed like Chad Jones. They were getting all kind of dudes, but it was like, damn, Joe McKnight's gone. We suck again.
What a buzzkill.
Yeah, it
we
sucked.
suck again.
And he was the man at
Did
Curtis.
Joe McKnight win a championship at USC?
No.
I don't think so.
Oh, well, LSU did.
Joe McKnight.
But RIP,
there was a whole story about him.
RIP Joe McKnight. But boy, golly,
he almost went to Ole Miss.
That was Frank will read Meat Market. You'll read all about Frank Wilson and Coach O and them doing their thing.
Oh, talk to a daddy.
Hugh Freeze, personnel director at the time.
They had a hell of a staff.
That was a great staff.
I had talked to a daddy, and daddy said he ain't.
And then we ranked number 2, 5 for 5. And while you came out on the great end of 5 for 5, the 2 you get are top 10 picks, and the other 3 don't even get drafted.
Yeah.
So it worked out very great for you.
But if they come,
but that day, and what made it that day bad? Like Joe McKnight was, I'm going to USC, boom, and it just happened. And then your day's ruined, perhaps your month, your year, however you want to put it.
4 years.
Everything's ruined for you. But 5 for 5 got drug out on national TV across like a 3-hour broadcast.
Yeah.
So as someone on our board described it, it was like a heavyweight fight where you were just getting body blowed one after the next, and you just.
I'm in the corner taking.
At some point before
punches.
Fournette went, like people were convinced that Saban was going to Texas and he was going to take Fournette with him, even though Tony Brown had already committed during that stretch to Alabama. But they're like, yeah, Saban couldn't tell Tony Brown he was leaving though, but he did tell Fournette, so Fournette's going to go to Texas.
And this is when we were tracking flights. We were doing airplane tail numbers.
It felt like body blow after body blow.
And then you get the University of.
Oh, that one almost took me out, Coach.
That's what I'm saying.
I was a kid. I was a junior. Fournette was a senior, so I was in my house like.
And then
he's about to go to Bama.
3 would be Landon Collins, because Landon's an unbelievable player. He ends up being
LSU
an early second-round pick, and not a lot of safeties. Jamal Adams goes top 10, but not a lot of safeties go in the first round. But Landon, phenomenal player. But it was also the timing of it, because it was like that was right before like a run that Bama was having.
And it was right after the Natty.
Yeah.
It was just like,
then
wow.
He just gave all the momentum to Bama. It just felt like, man, we're never going to catch up. That's how LSU fans felt.
That's what makes me nervous about Ricks. It feels in that same game.
But he's not from Louisiana, so it doesn't hurt.
No, I know that, but it just feels like the times when LSU is in the lead like this for like a.
Well, you're presuming they're in the lead. No one told you they have some big lead.
Usually, to me,
what hurt is Surtain when the kid says you're in the lead all the way until signing day, and then he picks somebody up.
His dad was from New Orleans.
Mm-hmm. Played for the Saints.
Yeah, and the Dolphins.
I don't know if he's
played for Nick Saban though.
From
with
New
the
Orleans,
Dolphins,
but
I think.
Yeah.
So that kind of.
Nick Saban's always got something up his sleeve.
Danny Lewis hurt last year.
All right, I got to get rolling.
Play us out.
Shout out Lance Beal. Shout out everyone in the chat.
Shout out
everybody. Happy signing day week.
Merry Christmas. Merry Flipmas.
We'll see. Merry Flipmas.
That was the Power Hour with Shea Dixon.
Happy graduation to Stewie.
Happy graduation to Stewie.
When you going to get that degree, Lloyd?
I got 2.
It's you, boy. A high school and a college.
And a master's, bro.
Go ahead, though.
Man, I got 3, bro.
I got 3 degrees. All C's.
All C's, coach.
We about to play in the cheese bowl. Let's roll.
You see what these 3 degrees did for him?
Uh-huh.